Hello. Whoa, that
Yo,
seems really close to my face. Welcome. We were dealing with some stuff. We're late by 3 minutes. One of you has already given us crap about it, but it's okay. Why do I feel like it's so zoomed into my face? Whatever, that's
I
fine.
was gonna say it does look a little closer to the.
Yeah, I don't know. He usually handles this. But yeah, so we did our vote Wednesday, and this is your lovely co-host. And we decided that we were gonna do Giants. Oh, that's good enough. I ain't gonna mess with it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let me hire something real quick. Deal with us. I don't usually host this, so there might be some growing pains here. But Jay is caught up at the moment, so there we go. Now I'll be able to hear you. So yeah, you got me running the show. Good luck. Um Anyways, Giants. We'll get into a free discussion as we always do. Kay's the only one here, anyways. And when we're talking about Giants, talking to a midget kind of seems a little
Kind of
weird.
crazy. Uh,
uh,
I do have a picture that looks like a midget like Kate could have taken it though. I'll show later.
okay, so a lot of this stuff you put forth. No, how about we start because I have something. I'll start with, and we'll go into the biblical side because
Yeah.
me and you can talk that, and because a lot of this stuff is Jay's stuff. But starting, what I wanted to talk about was I was reading a whole thing, but now I can't pull it up. It's locked behind like a login, so I
That's
can
it.
put it in the Discord after. But you might have stuff on this too. But it's this is relating to the Bible and in the land of the Bible, right? So it's
Yeah.
the Monash finds. And it's a lot of notes I took. Again, it's in the Israel Exploration Journal. It was in 1963. They found like they called it a hoard, but they found like a cache of these weapons, bronze weapons, dating from 5,000 to like 4,300 years ago.
Okay.
And they were spearheads and armor platelets. And so they were bronze spearheads. The smallest was 13 inches in length. The largest was 26 inches and weighed 5 pounds. And I can't pull up Bible verses that good, but I know you can. The Bible verse related to this is 2 Samuel chapter 21, verse 16. And
Second Samuel
yep, chapter 21.
21:16.
Yep. And it talks about someone Ishbi Benob in there, and it talks about he was a descendant of, if you can just, or put it
Yeah,
up on
I'm getting
screen and
there.
I'll read it. Do you know how to do that? I mean, is it easy to look up? Here.
Yeah, I got it up.
Okay. Bear with me for, again, I don't usually. Jeremy, hello. We're missing one of our people tonight. I usually don't run this, but I am now, so you're gonna have to bear with us. We're doing Giants. And
Okay.
at the stage.
Can you see this? Yeah.
Yep. Okay, here we
This
go.
could have been Ishbi
This
Benob.
Yep. Then Ishbi Benob, a descendant of Rapha. Oh, well,
Oh,
that's can oh, it's not. Okay, the one I read is different. But so it goes on that he was a son of or a offspring of giants.
yeah.
And
Ishbi Benob, one of the descendants of giants whose spear weighed 300 shekels of bronze, was
oh,
armed
I
with a
read
new sword,
Rapha,
fought to
Rapha.
kill
Okay.
David.
So they
Well,
go in.
quickly,
Go ahead.
sorry.
Yep.
Rafa, in something that I've got, is also named as one of like the giants or what would have been considered like Nephilim or angel back then. So
Yeah.
it would
Okay,
make
the
sense.
verse when I had read it on the thing was, it said was the descendants of giants is how they
Yeah,
worded it, but and it's funny because in this, they are not relating the size of him. They are telling you the size of his spear,
yeah,
and 300 shekels is like, I think it's 7 pounds or something. In the largest of these spearheads that were found, let me see if I can pull up a picture. Uh, Monash Horde. And it's interesting here. I can pull you down now. Here's some pictures. Let's see if I can find the spears. There should be pictures of the spears. Deal with me, guys. Again, I'm not the original guy running
at
this.
the
Kinsley,
moment.
hello. Okay, perfect. Here. Can I blow this up? I can't blow it up. Of course, it's all thumbnails. Oh my god. So apparently nothing's working for me. Is my computer dying because I'm streaming? What is going on? All right, let me try that again. Sorry, guys. My computer doesn't like me streaming, I guess. Well, I mean, anyways, I'll put it up there. I can't get a full size unless I do this, maybe. There we go. Share screen. Window. Add to stage. Figuring it out. So these are the spheres that were found. And it also goes on this the one on the farthest right in the thing I was reading says it shows signs of use. Like
But that's just a spearhead, right? Or is that the whole spear?
that's just the head. And
Hell.
so that's what I was going to get to. So the Bible verse says 300 shekels of bronze, and these are bronze. And it said it weighed about 300 shekels is about 7 pounds. Well, that head is 5 pounds alone.
Yeah,
So if
it's
you
quite
imagine the
similar.
shaft, it would be at least he said shaft, at least 7 pounds, right?
That's actually insane. Even just looking at the size of that, considering that's meant to just be a spearhead, that's flipping. What are you attacking with that?
Yeah. Well, even if you go into like ballistas and stuff, like the old giant siege weapons that were just giant bow and arrow or crossbows, it
Yeah,
wouldn't be built like that and it wouldn't be that big
no, not at all.
because it
I
would
don't even
just,
think you'd use that on a bear cave.
yeah,
That's massive.
that's 26 inches. That's 2 feet. You can't throw it. I couldn't throw. That's 5 pounds just in and of itself without, and imagine the size of the shaft. I said it
Yeah,
again. It would be, it's just massive. And it does show signs of, you see it, the chips, like it shows signs of use.
yeah.
And then in the document I was reading, which was that Israel exploration journal, then
Mhm.
you see like they catch themselves. They're saying all this, and then you see, well, it was probably ornamental because they can't come out and say, well, we think it could be Shelly. What's up? We think it could be giants, right? They're taking that out of the. I mean, it could discredit them, right? In some circles. But then on top of this, what they found is let me is armor platelets, bronze or no copper dishes, copper plates for like chainmail,
Yeah.
and that goes into I think you had it, 1 Samuel chapter 17 verse 4, which is the Goliath, and it talks. You can well, let's pull up that verse. and it talks. I'm looking for another picture while you're
What was
doing
it?
that.
Sorry, you say 1 Samuel.
1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 4. And they found 800 of them. Where's the plates?
Here you go.
I'm looking.
Let me share the screen
now. He got caught up in something. So it's me. He usually runs it. He's used to this. So he's see okay, it has all of it. Can you expand that just a little? Oh no, chainmail whaling. Okay. So the Philistines stood on one hill and the Israelites stood on the other, with the valley between them. Then a champion named Goliath, who was from Gath, which is I'll get to, but came out from the Philistine camp. He was 6 cubits in and a span in height. Oh, I don't know cubits in height.
6 cubits, yeah, is roughly 9 feet.
Okay, 9 feet tall. And he had a bronze helmet on his head. He wore a bronze coat of mail weighing 5,000 shekels. So let me pull this up and open in a new tab. This is just a snippet of the piece. They found 800 pieces of these armor mail. Where is open in a new tab? Deal with me, guys. I'm going.
This where you're getting into the Goliath of Gath, and this is actually something I had.
Yes, in the only other place, or the other place they found very similar armor mail like this was in Tel Gath, which is a real place. So it's on the biblical scale, and I'll let you go into the stuff you have, but let me.
Yeah, that's fine. That was basically for the Goliath bit.
Remove. So you see on the bottom here, like compared to and that was one of the smaller on this left side. This spearhead was one of the smaller ones. That wasn't the 26-inch long spearhead, but you see the size of these plates.
Man, it's still huge.
And there were 800 of them. And the only other place they found it, Tel Gath. So that's just one of the things I got caught reading, and that I had that was related to biblical, but also found archaeological, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
from 2 Samuel, where it mentioned descendants of giants, and then the other translation said descendants of Rephaim.
Yeah.
So I'll pull it up as well quickly. Hold on. This is another thing from the Bible. This is from Deuteronomy.
Yeah, I know. Quex has some stuff from the Book of Enoch too. He's way more well versed than me, and so.
Oh, 2, 10, 11.
But I don't know. Well, I mean, in 9 feet, right? The tallest man was what?
I'd say is that 8 foot something. I've got
8'11". He was 8'11". And the other thing that is like you're seeing. Remember, I sent the clip to you, Quex. You're seeing giant things starting to come back too, which I was like, does the Bible talk about them coming back? Because we're getting world record fish, like people pull a 900-pound marlin, like these. It seems like things are getting bigger. People are, that's for sure. You can see it.
But it's not like it says that they're coming back, but it never exactly says that they left. Because there's mention of them existing in the Bible vaguely, but it basically says that they were here before the flood and they were here after. But it's only when you start to look at Enoch's writings, the Book of the Giants, which is something else I've got something on, which is from the Dead Sea Scrolls as well, which shows that these stories and documenting of giants has gone way before certain religions and belief systems we have today. Sorry, one second, I need to let my dog outside.
No, you're good. I'll want to answer some. Well, yeah, okay, it could, but a two-sided spear doesn't always fly straight unless it's like perfectly made. That's why like a lot of arrows are circular if they are two-sided. Um, it will, but it's still just it would be stubbier and heavier, right? Because like it's meant to hit like a tower, like a siege tower. It's meant to do damage. That
It'll be
that
thicker.
long and thin, that's made for like hitting someone or
Yeah.
or
Pierce
stabbing
armor or
someone.
flesh.
Yeah. The other thing it could be as a siege weapon, it could be like a defense, like a big thing you pull up. And you know me, I did think that. Like it's not something that's being thrown or anything. It's like if they're bringing a charge of cavalry in or something, right? They can raise these giant spears up type. So is there explanation some explanation? Yeah, but the chainmail is more like that's to me, that's clearly what those things are, and they're big. They're big pieces. All right,
So yeah.
go ahead.
Sorry, go on. Let you finish. I thought you were done.
Well, I was gonna say the highlighted part.
Yeah, but there's another verse further down as well. Yeah, but look, here it says the men formerly lived there, and talking about Moab. And men formerly lived there, people great and many, as tall as the Anak and tall as the Anakim, which were another race of giants. These, the Rephaim, the Mim, the Anakin, they were names given to different what we would look at as races of giants back then.
Okay.
So I was saying before, when it said it's a descendant of Repha or Rapha, this is what they're referring to. But obviously, in Hebrew, when you see the I am at the end of a word,
Yep.
that's not speaking about a person. That's where it starts to speak about like a group of people. So when you see verses
Okay.
like this, and then down here it mentions them as well, it's literally mentioning different races of giants that existed, that were
Yeah.
documented over a time. And you go back and you look at things that were written before these texts, and these stories exist there as well. And the similarities are they're too close for it to just be coincidental, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. I mean, and that's oh, did you read the second? Oh no, you did. Okay. Um, sorry, my mind's everywhere. I'm trying to deal with multiple things at once. I'm not used to doing this. I mean, if you're taking the Bible as historical text, just what we've talked about so far, some of the archaeological finds, and I know there's more biblical stuff, we'll go to that, but it's tough because I think, as we've talked about before, so much is hidden, like the bones that went missing,
Yeah.
all that they got taken from the little museum they were in, right?
Which one
And we'll get
specifically?
to that. Sorry, I'm reading back to Kinsley. You said they're mentioned in a lot of cultures after this Bible thing. I'll get into the ones here in the Americas that were talked about by indigenous tribes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Those
I
been
don't
those
know.
books are just pulled up. They're more to like just show where even in the Bible, and you can look back before it. It's the fact that it mentions these giant tribes or like the size of them. So it's like this is
Yeah,
something that they actually believed to be true back then.
and the thing is too, they're pretty close. They're pretty
Mm-hmm.
exact on it. You know, it's not like, oh, he was just a giant and left it at that, because that's all uh perception, right? Like
Yeah.
that's all like Takei, a 6 foot person is a giant. To me,
Well,
a 7 foot, like 7'5" guy, I'll be like, God, that's a big person.
yeah, I'll show this with might as well just mention this guy quick. This is the picture I was saying I had where it looks like a little person has taken it. And obviously the person looks like several stories higher, but it's just because the person's kind of like stepped back and crouched down to get the
Yeah,
skeleton in
yeah,
one
yeah.
frame.
Yep.
But that's meant to be a reconstruction of this guy. who
The
is
Waldo guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's like the tallest documented proven human at that height. So that's like a not a baseline, but kind of like a reference point we can use for someone that was actually that tall.
I want to
But
see
everything
him.
else you see is mentioned, they're bigger than him.
Yeah, yeah. And I took a picture at one of the wax museums standing next to him, and I'm 6'9". I want to see if I actually have it. I know my wife did. Let me see. I don't know if I have it. But even next to me, like that's a massive, massive. No, I don't have it. But anyways, that's a big person. But that's documented and recorded. And
Yeah.
so kind of my why I would really see it being possible, but also someone like that was maybe didn't have, I think he had Marfan's. I think he died pretty young at like 31 or something. But back in the day, that was that or even taller, right? I could see things that making it into literature, making it in, but yeah,
Yeah, this is more recent, so we look at it different. But like you said, going
exactly.
back further, especially if they are seeing more of them, I don't even think they would have seen it as anything that special.
Yeah.
It would have just been like the normal for them.
And that's my yeah. Uh, but that's my belief on it too. Like, do I believe there were extraordinary men, you know, possibly 9 feet, even maybe 10 back then, a lost bloodline, right? Because they're probably going to be killed. You know what I mean? They're
Possible.
probably going to be hunted down and killed just because we're
Different.
humans and we do that to. So that I believe, but when you get into like giants like 15, 20 foot tall, that's where could it be possible? Could it have been a lost race? Yeah, that too, but because that's some of the evidence the ones here in America, weren't they suspected to be like over 10 feet tall when they found like the femur bone?
Yeah, I think so. That's the one where they found that collection of just different bones, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like,
But it even it even goes into like Indian legends. They know nothing about the burial mounds. That's right. I think those are the ones in Ohio.
yeah.
Yeah, the Ohio River Valley. They had the burial mounds where I think that's where they found these bones. And they
So
asked uh,
one's
they
the
asked
link
an
is very
Indian
far.
back in the 19th century, and he goes, "We know nothing about them. They were here before the red man."
Huh.
So it goes also that they, were ancient or Nephilim, 8 to 12 feet tall.
Well, see, even in the Bible, there's other references to giants, yeah, where they talk about height or like dimensions rather. Because let me show this quick. So I hear yeah, this is in Deuteronomy 3:11.
Yep,
Says for Og, the king of Bashan, was left of the remnant of the Rephaim, which, like I said, was one of the tribes of giants, right?
yep,
Behold, his bed was a bed of iron. It is not in Rabbah of the Ammonites. Is it not in Rabbah of the Ammonites? 9 cubits was its length, and 4 cubits is its breadth. Now, 9 cubits, yeah, is meant to be like 13 feet, 13 and a half feet.
yep.
So that's like 13 feet long and like 6 feet wide.
That's the crazy part, right? Like the wide part that some document was like not only like worth, and that's where I lose it, not lose it, but I wasn't really thinking when I was mentioning this, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I'm thinking like of human build, an 8 foot 9 feet of a human build, but when they talk how wide some of these things were, like that's not human build.
No, well, that was talking about the bed. But
Oh,
then
the
you
bed.
even,
Okay.
yeah, but then you see
Okay.
phrases like this, well, verses like this. And there we saw the Nephilim, which you already know was like the giants, the ones
Yeah.
that the fallen angels bred with, and that. The sons of Anak, who came from the Nephilim, So it shows you that these tribes of giants that they spoke of, they knew descended from these giant Nephilim that existed before. And then it
Yeah.
says, we seem to ourselves like grasshoppers, so we seem to them, and so we seem to them. So they even saying that compared to these lot, we're tiny. We're nothing.
Yeah.
Like in comparing the size between them.
Okay. It's just like, for me, it goes along the line of like Bigfoot. I want to keep going with on the route we're going. I was just thinking that because I'm seeing too that Shell was in a different chat, so I tried to open it, so I got a little distracted. But so what are you? Yeah, what is Kay and Kinsley? I don't think they're
At the
showing up.
top of your chat, yeah. Do you see where it says top chats? If you press that and go to live chat, you should see all the messages that are being sent, not just the quote unquote top messages. That
But
might
I
be why you're only seeing certain things
well, oh, like on my.
on
Sorry,
YouTube.
guys. I'm just trying to figure this out because it's saying live chat is on. I don't see top chats. I'm on my phone.
Oh, no, I was talking to Kay on YouTube because she's saying she can only see certain things. So she might be looking at top chats, not live chats, which doesn't show everything.
But even mine, it says there's me in here.
Huh?
And if I go back, it's only Shelly and Jeremy Vargas in here
I don't know what that is.
on the YouTube app.
On the website, I see Kay, Kinsley, and Shelly.
Okay, so it must be something on the phone because some other person was in here and they said what earlier when I was.
Yeah, look, Shelly says that as well. I'm in the normal one now. Whatever way I opened it on my phone messed up.
Is it? Huh. All right. I don't know if something's going on with YouTube or like, watch, I'll say hi. It shows up here, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's odd, but I don't see it in the YouTube chat.
Like it only
I don't
has,
know.
it's whatever. As long as you guys can see it and it's working, I don't, again, I'm running this. Jay usually does, and he's logged in on all of his stuff. Maybe a repost link. So who's yeah, maybe that's because I'm running it.
Oh, possibly.
I don't know. But all right, let's drive. Oh yeah, there's two. Oh, that's why it's messed up.
The split screen thing.
The split screen.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, everyone's here and there's two people in the other. All right, guys. So just anyone who's watching, if you're in the vertical view, everyone else is in the horizontal view right now. We have four people over here, and we have me or one other person in the vertical. So there's two views. And well, I chose to stream in two views. That may be why Jay doesn't do it, because it's playing as two separate videos,
Yeah.
not
I'll
one
put
video.
the link in that one.
Yeah. Okay. My bad. So now I know not to do this again if I have to run it. Okay, it's playing as two separate videos to YouTube. That's probably why my computer was struggling a little. Anyways, where were we?
Just finished mentioning Nephilim. And
Nephilim.
then you went on to Bigfoot, which I actually have something about that, which I think might be where some of the stories started to come from, or they may even be involved, related somehow. I don't know. But you
Okay,
started to
all right.
mention something about Bigfoot.
Let's finish. Yeah, we'll never take. Fuck you. Whatever. Let's finish. Do you have any more biblical stuff?
Yeah, I got a few. I got
Well, he only
the other
runs it
main
in
thing.
vertical.
to do with that the scripture kind of side is from the Dead Sea Scrolls in the Book of the Giants. Now, in there, it's got like an expanded version of Genesis. You'd have to, if you want, let me try and find a link to actually view that. They're the manuscript IDs. But they've basically got like an expansion of Genesis. And then you've got the Enoch story, which is kind of told from the Giants' point of view.
Okay.
And here it's like, so obviously they speak of the Watchers coming down, breeding with human women and producing giants, right?
Yeah.
And obviously in the Book of the Giants and Enoch, they basically ask him what certain nightmares mean. Because they're getting dreams like of like a coming flood, and this is where this is before the flood happens. Enoch basically tells them that you're all going to be wiped out. There's going to be a flood. Everything's going to be kind of like wiped clean, innit?
Yeah.
But then that's like the commonly known things. But then when you start to read the Book of the Giants, they actually mention Gilgamesh, who isn't even from Christian and Judean times. He's from Sumerian thousands of years before. But they still mention him. And the thing with that is, obviously, we haven't got, say, physical proof of Gilgamesh existing. But from Sumerian times, there's a list of kings that they've got. And the document is about 2,000 to 2,200 years before Christ, right? And obviously, he was a king of Uruk and a fifth ruler after the flood. But this list of kings also has kings from before the flood, which goes back into the Bible saying that giants were here before and after. So they never really left. And it's like, oh, I'm trying to pull out what I had on this. I need another monitor. I have too much.
How tall did they say, like, from the text? How tall did they say that Gilgamesh was?
I'd have to look that up. I don't know if they did.
I know he was. I know from what little I've read in it, he was like a giant. Like
Gilgamesh was apparently 11 cubits tall, which translates to approximately 17 to 18 feet.
Oh shit!
Which is like three of you stacked on top of each other.
That's huge.
That's
huge.
not a little man.
Oh, Jay's here. Hold on.
Nice.
I messed up.
Hold on. My headphones were off.
I messed up.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Hello? Jay?
Yeah.
Oh, what is going on today?
It's probably because I'm running it and you're not.
Okay. Try it now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay.
I messed up. I clicked stream both ways. So people are stuck in two different chats.
Oh, well. As long as it's working.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad you're here because a bunch of your stuff I was pulling up and it's textual and I know a little bit about it, but I know there's parts you probably want to hit. So we're on the biblical side of things right now. That's what we started with.
Okay.
And
sorry for being late and ignoring you.
No, you're good. I just figured something was up and I didn't want to miss the time. So
I was taking a nap.
Oh, and I'm fired.
Fuck yeah, no. You sure about that, Kay? You sure about that?
What'd Kay say? What'd Kay say?
Ponte is fired.
because I was figuring out the software. All right, and I'm streaming to 2 places, and people were caught in different chats and didn't see why people could see what they were saying.
What's up, Kinsley? Yeah, full honesty, I completely forgot to set an alarm. I ate 3 fajitas and went to a food company.
I figured something was up. I was actually worried about you, so I told Quex
My
that.
bad.
Like,
shout out to my wife. She said, "Aren't you live streaming?" I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "It's 8:00." I was like, "No, it's not." So sorry. I know, sleeping on the job. I know. I feel like an idiot.
But anyways, we were I think we were on Gilgamesh.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, the point I was leading to is obviously that from Sumerians, you see that they're already documenting giants existing. And then although it's different stories, and when it comes to Jewish people, and they've got the Nephilim and their version of the Watchers coming down and breeding and making them, it still shows that these things, they're kind of intertwined, because they've got the giants and the flooding Sumerians, and they've also got that in Judaism thousands of years later. So I don't think that these things are just things that people are just making up over time. Especially considering back then, that's oral passing down things orally, and whether you're writing things on different materials or carving them into wood, that's the only way you can document things. It's not like they can snap photographs of them, you know?
Yeah.
And isn't there a thought that Gilgamesh was Nimrod? Like it's the same person who's being talked about?
It could be. I don't know if it is, but it could be. Because there are mentions of certain tribes or races of giants descending from Nimrod. And you go back, like just before you joined, we just finished saying that Gilgamesh was 11 cubits tall, which is like 18 feet.
Yeah, I knew Gilgamesh
huge.
Yeah. In that book that I've always
feet.
Yeah, he was a giant. Gilgamesh was a giant.
Okay, Gilgamesh is the one, maybe I got the story wrong, but Gilgamesh is the one that there's the recording of how big his bed was, isn't it? Or is that Nimrod?
No. That's
no.
I had that as someone else.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, you see? Sleeping on the job, comes in here, messes everything up.
That was Og, the king of Bashan.
Okay.
Whose bed was 9 cubits long and 4 cubits wide, which is like 13 feet long and 6 feet wide.
Okay.
Which we also did just mention just before we got onto Gilgamesh.
Hey Jay, can I get rid of one of these when we're already live? Because I'm dual.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, I know not to do that again. Because people were split up in the chat. I just we have to remember to say it. If you can't see the chat, go horizontal view.
I'll put a link in the other chat to come to the main one. So
can we pin it?
Okay.
But yeah, it's literally showing 2 separate videos on YouTube right now.
Yeah, that's what it does. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
But I improvise. We're here. Anyways, yeah. But it was that book, the one I always talk about, Secret History of the World. The guy that very textbooky, but he goes into esoteric and religion and tries to relate how everything, make the similarities between religions and all that stuff. And I think it's in there he talks about Gilgamesh could be the same as Nimrod.
They say they found him, Shelley, but there's not that actual proof that they found Gilgamesh. But what they found is that there's certain things, because obviously he was supposed to be the king of Uruk, or one of the early kings of Uruk. So what's proven is that there's certain places from the text that they've seen are actually true, and there's things that line up with what it says, but in conspiracy circles, yeah, they found Gilgamesh's body, but in something that's proven and that documented that we can go and look at, they don't say they have. But
And that
they
I
know
think
Uruk
could
was
also,
real.
and I think that could also lead into, you know, them hiding stuff.
Of course.
Whether it's in the Vatican's library, whether it's in the Smithsonian, like it very well goes into that like, yeah, maybe they did, and there's when people caught wind of it and pass it around, but it's only verbal and it's unproven. So
even with what Shay just said, would they not show you proof, or would they show you proof? No, they wouldn't, because the fact that the Book of Enoch alone has been removed from canon scripture already shows you that they're trying to hide it, because the Ethiopians kept it. There's certain Persian prophets from like the 1st century that they, in their beliefs and their stories, they also believed in giants coming from the same places. And when you go and then you look at that modern religion and they've tried to hide majority of it, it's gonna open up too many questions and make too many people question shit that they've done already. You know, that's why I don't think they've said that they found his body for real.
That leads me into a lot of the things why like aliens have been kept quiet and all this stuff was they kind of want, I think in the past, especially for the human mind, that we are the premier thing. You know what I mean? Like everyone knowing we are the apex, and well, coming out and saying we're not. You know, we're just mushy things, just like anything. And there are things out there that either were or are superior to us, whether it's giants, aliens, whatever the case may be. Kind of messes up a lot of what we're taught and put forth, right? Or that is put forth to us.
I do have one thing. I don't. It just came to my mind when you brought up the Vatican. What would be, and it's kind of an odd question, but what would be the Vatican's reasoning for hiding evidence of giants? Because wouldn't that just confirm the biblical narrative to a sense?
I mean, yes, but it could also be current times. Like there were the ones here in America. The bones were in a museum. It was a little museum or something, but they were there, and then they were taken, right?
Yeah.
But then how society is shifting and everything, and it's like, well, yeah, it can be in your book, but like if people actually seeing proof of like giants might, and I don't know, I don't have the answer to that. I'm just trying to free think to answer your question in some way, is along that line of keeping people comfortable, keeping people happy. You know what I mean?
Controlling
Like,
the narrative.
yeah. But yeah, that's really the only reason I could see it. Because you're right. Giants, yeah, see, it was in the Bible. You know, Goliath, yeah, see. So yeah. And that's sometimes, and we, if you'd have to dig way back in the archive to see when we yell at each other about religion, is in some light I could see that, Shelley. Let me highlight it.
What?
You know, some people's that, you know, Jesus was a normal guy and he was just really good and he was better than other people, but the miracles side of it. Wait, so you're saying that's why they would hide the giant theory? The Vatican would? Because
No, I don't think one matters for the other. One doesn't take away from the other. But I think it's just to open up questions to our creation.
Never mind. She auto-corrected it later. But yeah, what I was going with was, yeah, no, never mind. It wouldn't. I got lost.
One doesn't matter for the other.
My
But I
brain's
guess
not
into
really
a whole
working out
different
today.
thing. That's why I'm trying not to say too much on it because that goes into a whole different topic. There's a lot I could say on it, but we'd be here for ages, man.
And
But anyway,
when
go
you're
ahead.
when we're talking about the biblical giants, like, and you brought up Enoch already, Quicks, but it makes me wonder with all the problem is we say evidence of giants. There's not really evidence. Like most of it's story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of it's
Yeah.
is story, oral history, but Enoch talks a lot of it, and it's not a lot about that, and it's not like it's a little book. Enoch's a large book.
Yeah, and there's
And
3. There's Enoch 1, 2, and 3.
Well, I also, sorry, finish your thought and then let me.
no, that was pretty much it. Maybe someone could fact check me on this, but I know Enoch 1 isn't debated, but isn't Enoch
Well,
2 and 3 debated as to whether they're legitimate or not?
They all
I
are
think
because they came after.
and
That's why it's not canon.
something I started the episode off was biblical text and actual archaeological finds in the land of the Bible in Israel. It was called the Monash Hoard, and they found these giant bronze spears. And I went through because it was a text I read from the actual Israeli exploration journal. And when I was reading it, I could, and then when I went back to open it again, I have to like sign up and do all this bullshit to read it. But it goes in, and they found these chainmail platelets, massive chainmail platelets. And the only other place they found it in was El Gath. And in the Bible, it talks about Gath with Goliath. And that's the only other place they found these pretty much very similar giant platelets of chainmail. So it was, yeah.
This is the thing though, like this is why I said before, yeah, a lot of the text we have from history is just their way of documenting things. So things that they would have seen and known to be true, the only way they could record it and pass it on is verbally and through writing it in some shape or form. But as time goes on, there's so many, like you said, archaeological finds and things that they found physically that match up to parts of these stories from history. And they all seem to be ones that kind of get hidden or pushed to the side. But why would they get pieces of it true back then and not all of it?
I want to show.
I think that's a big thing. How much of the stuff we read do we consider myth was actually reality? You know, we just write
this
it
is
up.
what I want to show Jay real quick. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but
you're good.
I want to show you the picture of the spears just so you get an idea of it. And let's see if it blows it up. And the fact that I think this double streaming is really messing with my computer. Well, anyways, they found a bronze spear, a flathead spear, 26 inches tall. And the Bible goes to say it was of this particular, who was it? Ishbi Bahob, which was a descendant of giants, or and he had a spear. And they go in the verse and say they don't relate his size; they relate the size of his spear. That was 300 shekels in bronze, which is about 7 pounds. This spearhead's 26 inches tall and 5 pounds, and it shows sign of use, like there's chips in it and everything. But yeah, sorry, I just want to get you caught up in so, but yeah.
This shit fascinates me when we're talking about giants because it almost seems like anytime there's a mention of a giant or a description of a giant, it lines up with like the biblical description of giants. To an extent, because there's also the stuff in the Bible about the pre-flood giants that were just utterly massive. But afterwards, like the ones after, like they line up with them, and it's crazy.
Even that matches up. Gilgamesh, 18 foot tall. You look
Yes.
at giants mentioned after the flood, and they're like 9 feet tall, 11 feet
Yep.
tall. So there's a big difference already in the size of them.
Which is interesting. And something I was reading, looking up about just different cultures and stuff and about giants. It's interesting that the post-flood giants are recorded as a lot smaller, but it almost makes me wonder if they're like the atmosphere was different. And in Indian lore, there was a time when basically there was more oxygen or something. There was a time where everything was bigger.
Well, and that goes into prehistoric too. When everything was bigger there was a higher carbon footprint, just the parts per million of carbon. Oh, look at who it is behind you.
Yeah, it's Artemis.
That's a special kitty.
It is.
By special, I mean special, but it leads to that too, though, is what I'm saying, is that you go prehistoric in that the atmosphere, vegetation, everything promoted larger creatures, dinosaurs. They were all big. So yeah.
What's that guy's name? I think it's Kent Hovind. Old guy, white hair. Always disputing that science compared to like biblical creation, yeah. And he mentioned that before as well. He says if you look at the flood, he reckons that before the flood, what we call the firmament was like a thin layer of ice in our atmosphere that was lower down compared to where our atmosphere extends to now. And he basically says because of that, air quality and the air pressure here was very different. And because there's a better quality of air, things are growing better. So now the things that are eating them and breathing in this air, they're growing a lot bigger. So now when Noah's Ark happened, regardless of what he took, whether they're animals, goats, lions, dinosaurs, lizards, reptiles, he wouldn't have taken the fully grown ones. He would have taken the young because he needs to reproduce after. So now after the flood has happened, this layer of ice is no longer there. So now our atmosphere is extended a bit. Oxygen quality drops because now it's spread out a lot more. So now these things aren't able to grow as big as they once did. Some of them died out because they're not used to that environment, which logically it makes sense.
It does when you think about it that way. And that's where, I don't always agree with everything you guys say, especially on biblical sense. But like when you look at just, and I've never really looked at it that way, the sense that the times have changed, right? And then too, when you look at people and animals and diets, even Matthias, what's up?
What's up, Matthias?
That, things ate better. Food was cleaner. Food was better. And I think there was some curve, whether it was the flood or whatever. And then it just changed because, you go back 2,000 years, people were smaller. We're growing again now. The average height of men and women are getting higher. K's just ancient is what we're trying to say, but
yeah, K's old as shit.
Yeah, K's 6,000 years old and 4'4".
Yeah.
But yeah.
When you were talking about that, Quex, you said a layer in the ice of the atmosphere. Doesn't that just sound like firmament?
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like science saying, well, listen, it's okay. It's not a firmament. It's a layer of ice.
See, this whole topic is crazy though, man, because it does go into various, like even when you said it's interesting how it goes back to the Bible, yeah. It goes further than that because that the Iranian or the Persian prophet that I mentioned, right, from 3rd century, he also basically he founded a religion, Manichaeism, and stories of the Watchers and the Giants were also in that belief system. And this is something that spread out to, it had like Gnostic beliefs, Zoroastrian beliefs, Buddhism, Greek philosophy. It spread out to the east, like towards China and all that. But in his theology, there's two people called Oya and Haya from Sumerian times, which were renamed to Sam and Nariman. And the story of them against the giants ends with 4 angels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Israel, defeating the demons and their offspring, which would be Nephilim or the giants or whatnot. So it's crazy how even you take the Bible out of it, it still managed to get out to other parts of the world into like religious belief systems. And it's the same story, just told differently, different names.
Yeah. Dude, it's crazy too, because it all lines up. Like, you talk about the Tower of Babel and everybody being divided. They would have different they would have different stories and everything. Shelley said something interesting though. She said, "Why are the giants always men?"
Well,
and I don't.
It's because they kept the women in the kitchen.
The Bible tells you. Even not just the Bible.
I'm sorry.
All other stories of it, like they all seem to refer to, well, not all. Let me not say that, because you look at Gilgamesh and it was his mother that was the divine one, not his dad. But a lot of them speak of giants mating with women, mating with the women of men. So I don't know. Maybe it's genetic. That could actually be why, because that's the side that carries the actual gene.
Or that. Well, my mom.
Could they not breed
on my mom's side?
Were they sterile?
Could they not breed? Or was there? It's something I said earlier. Were they not? That's maybe not in the Bible, right? Take it out. Were they not prosecuted? Were they not hunted?
Oh, they definitely were.
Was it easier to kill the women off, right? Because of whatever, you target the women and children. Honestly, let's speak genocide. You go after the sexual reproduction, you go after, like, you kill the generations. And so who's to say the what we read of aren't the last ones standing, and they're just the men that survived, and we lose some of history of everything else. I don't know. I'm just.
Well, it's even interesting, sir, because if you look at the language here, even like although I use the Bible as like a way to say, look, it even says this. When it says sons of God, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're all boys or that they're all men, because it's more used as a word to like define a class of being. So these sons of God is just to show that this group of entities are below God. So that sons could be children, it could be male, it could be female, it could be something in the middle. We don't actually know, because it's not meant in a literal sense to be man.
Yeah, it's like you just said it. It's like the term men in the Bible. It could mean males, but men is also used to describe just humanity.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about Wonder Woman here now. Okay. But,
I mean, it's interesting. Men of renown.
Sorry, go ahead. My boob job scar is bothering me.
Oh.
For some reason, all of a sudden.
Very
I got double D's now.
So going back to, sorry, go on.
No. I was gonna say, let's go ahead. I was trying to.
I was going to go back to what Matthias had said about, we know that the flood was a cyclical Earth axis shift, but that still doesn't take away from what certain text or scripture says. Because they may say God's the one who created it, but to them, the reason for that is when you go and look at Enoch, and it tells you they were having dreams of this happening. So that could have just been their interpretation, that because we keep dreaming of it and it's happened, this is something that's coming from God. But it could still have been something that just happened naturally. Just their way of explaining it,
Yeah. And that's kind of what you said is also kind of how I've always seen some historical things in the Bible, right? That it's just a perception of what's going on and relating it, whether it was God or not, but it was just their relation to what was going on with their relationship with God. because as I've said, the vegetable body, going way back, people were more connected to God, or to energy beings, if you don't want to call it God, whatever. And as we were pulling apart things, geologically, is that right? Tectonically, whatever were happening, and people couldn't access what they could before in their brain, so they're doing what they knew best, and we're relating it to acts of God.
Yeah.
We don't have to get in, but you know what I mean? Like, which
Their
is,
way of interpreting it.
yep. But yeah, I mean, maybe giants, or maybe giants as a race were, what is it, asexual?
Oh God, that's terrifying.
They were they just popped out, didn't matter what, no sex necessary. They just
They had a
absorbed
Oh yeah, a little one grows out the neck or something crazy. Yeah, that's terrifying.
and then you go into the some of the other things, like what is it, trolls, where they
Yeah.
have a separate head. Maybe that's just them reproducing asexually, and they're just talking about giants in folklore.
And it's interesting, you bring up folklore and stuff like that. Giants is similar to the flood. Like almost all these ancient cultures have stories of giants.
Yeah. I mean, and again, you know me, here comes the argument to it. Me walking around in the Middle Age, in the Middle Ages, or the Bronze Age or whatever. Going back to Quex, sorry, drinking beer tonight, guys, so you're gonna have to deal with me. Going back to Quex, Tower London, their biggest hard armor suit they have there is someone who is 6'8", and it's a massive. But like you better believe that guy was called a giant by everyone around him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're a giant. Oh, you're a giant. And that kind of points into my defense earlier, was that the Bible is very specific in telling you weights and sizes. And me and Quex talked about it. And that's them taking the oh, you're a giant.
Documenting what they knew, what they saw,
Yeah.
what they
Yeah.
experienced.
So, I mean, it goes two ways. Like, some things could be they just saw a well above average, a specimen, like myself.
Oh my God.
It called it a giant, and then there's times where it's actually they're referring the actual size of the thing. So
Yeah, I mean, there is some truth to that. Like someone who's 6'8" now, that would be like being over 8 feet tall, 2,000 years ago, when the average height of somebody was like, 5 foot or something.
Yeah. Like, Shelly, aren't you 5'8"? You'd be considered a giant 2,000 years. You'd be the Irish giant 2,000 years ago. My mom's 6 foot. She'd be a massive woman in the day.
Can you see this?
Oh, let me pull it up. Sorry, I'm used to Jay doing it.
This is just going back to the atmosphere being different and things growing to different sizes. But it's something that, like it says there, they believe to be from up to 300,000 years ago. Yeah, but from that bones and teeth and things that they found of it, they believe this was a 600-pound ape that was around 10 foot.
Oh, Gigantopithecus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was meant to show it earlier when you mentioned Bigfoot, because this could also be where certain stories of Bigfoot could have started here. Or what we see today as Bigfoot could genuinely have come from whatever the fuck that was.
There's the other one in South America, the giant ape or whatever, that they were people supposedly, 100 years ago or 200 in the 1800s and stuff, supposedly came across these giant, not like apes,
Mm-hmm.
in the rainforest down there. And I don't know, knowing how strong monkeys are and stuff,
I wouldn't want to meet that.
Gigantopithecus. Nah, man.
I'm good. I've seen
great ape.
gorillas in action. I don't need to see one of those. She would eat me alive.
Jesus, no, thank you. And how they fight too. They rip ears off. They bite genitals off.
Yeah, they'll tear you apart.
This is just me saying some wild shit, but when I was looking into this, I couldn't help but think like tying the Bigfoot into with the whole giants thing and wondering if there's a potential that the giants or the Bigfoot is maybe like an offspring or something, and they've went completely like feral and wild, and the reason we don't see them is one, they're so skittish because like we said, humans have hunted them, and then two, they are these beings that still are attached. That's why you hear about them being able to basically mind speak with people, and stuff like that. Leave, and they're talking through people through their mind and stuff. So when I was like researching and reading some stuff, that's what I was thinking of.
And I kind of mentioned that earlier, just in passing. We breezed over it. That's why he brought up the Gigantopithecus thing. Was that like maybe Bigfoots are some long descendant that, and it goes into my thing of them being hunted, you know, especially 2,000 years ago. And like Gen X says, if you were 6'5" and there was a whole colony of you, you know, you might be hunted and exterminated because you're all these freaks, you know, like, oh, they're different. And you know how humans are. You're different. No, there's something wrong. No, oh. So,
or you would be the leader of the tribe.
That too. And you'd be go out and fight Achilles like in the movie. Raw.
Yeah. Should we play that? Should we play that clip from Joe Rogan?
Send it to me.
Oh, okay.
Pretty before you do that, why is
or is it in? Did you put?
No, I didn't. I just thought of it because I think it's a good clip because it's a first-hand account, not necessarily of a giant per se, but a large human being, red hair and everything. I'll look it up.
Yeah, but also, which Jay will get into with the Ohio River stuff, is that the Native Americans saw giants and said they were like redheads, you know, and multiple rows of teeth and like all this stuff. So there is accounts of a separation in Native American heritage, I believe. I don't quote me on that, but I think there is a difference Jesus, my brain today is just not there.
Use your words, bro.
There is a difference between Bigfoot and giants with a lot of Native American stories. They're not the same thing. I don't know.
But what if they're descendants of, or kind of?
Oh, well, he's saying from the stars, and that's, you know.
Yeah, that's what they say. But it's that, even if you go and look at things of fallen angels and what they bred with being giants and them being interdimensional, they also say that they've apparently seen Bigfoot coming in and out of portals.
Yes.
Wouldn't that just be the same thing?
This is Devin Larratt.
Oh,
what a guy. Arm wrestling legend.
Yep. Also a member of the Canadian Special Forces, which I didn't know before.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that. He doesn't talk about it.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
If it's the clip I'm thinking of, I think that's what made me find out. Was it when he was talking about Afghanistan and that? And he's like, it's a beautiful place. Yeah.
Did you see the one when he's talking about the possession? Yeah.
I don't think this video will go into that, but we can mention it afterwards. But he
actually need to finish watching the whole thing.
It's pretty wild.
He's such a cool dude. He goes with Brian Shaw because I really like Brian Shaw. I think he's humble. He's my height, but outweighs me by at least 100 pounds, probably 120 something pounds. But
space with everybody. I got to ask you about this, and this is a silly thing.
Just ignore the AI images, guys.
Kandahar. Yeah. Have you heard of the legend of the Kandahar giant?
Of course.
Yeah. What did you hear? When did you hear?
Well, I've seen. Okay. There's some freaks out there, man. There's some freaks. So yeah, I mean, I've seen the YouTube video.
I know you'd like this, Kinsley.
I've heard about it from other people, but legit, okay? Hard for me because I was far away, okay? I was probably about 200 meters away. We were doing a mobility exercise. Okay, mobility.
At least 500 yards. I want 5. It goes to the Bigfoot thing, Jay. Sorry.
That's basically fucking Gilgamesh standing next to Ponte.
Yeah.
Mobility. Okay, mobility was my least favorite op. Mobility, basically, you get in a bunch of trucks and you kind of roll out and you kind of look for a fight. Okay, so we were doing like a 2-week mobility in this region, kind of north of the Panjway. I don't remember exactly what it was called. There's this surrounded by mountains, this big valley.
Can you pause it for a second?
We're rolling around.
I think it's important to add Devin, I'm pretty sure, is like 6'5". Like, he's not a small dude.
I think he's 6'7" or so. He's
He's
6'5".
a big guy.
But when you look at him compared to other arm wrestlers, I wanted to say this. I'm glad you stepped in. He's not huge.
No.
But he's so dominant. His arms aren't big. Not like he's getting bigger because he's with Brian Shaw and they're creating a new program. But that's neither here or now. So let's keep going.
And so there was a village that we were going to check out, and I'm like a gunner, okay? So I don't know everything that's going on. I'm a dude on a machine gun, okay? But I can see everything that's happening. I kind of know what we're doing.
Get that fucking gun up.
I know that there's a meeting, and what they have is they have these warlords. It's not the same kind of political system or anything that we have in like North America. Kind of the baddest dude in the region becomes in charge. Okay, so we were meeting with one of the local warlords, and so the town was like 500 meters away. They drove out from the town about 500 meters, and we had our trucks about 200 meters from the meeting point. Our officer and a couple dudes went forward, and we're looking. This guy, I mean, he was maybe twice as big. He was huge. He was a massive dude.
Like how big?
I think he was 8 feet. I think he was 8 foot something. And it's embarrassing. It's like, Devin, you're crazy. And he's big.
And he was 200 meters away.
He's about 200 meters away, but I can see the guys. We got optics. Our officer was probably somewhere at the bottom of his chest. Great big Afghan dude.
He keeps staring to the left when he seems to be recording something as well. Same spot.
He's around him. We're normal size. Great big warlord. So they're out there. There's big people. There's
8 feet is nuts.
I have personally seen people who were probably over 8 feet.
What?
Yeah.
In Afghanistan?
No. I saw these guys up north, northern Canada, Cree. I was up in Ojibugamo, okay, this Cree village. I remember walking up. I'm there for arm wrestling. We're having an arm wrestling tournament, and I'm looking up. We're walking up the stairs in this hockey arena, and this dude, I'm like, that's a really big dude. And by the time I got there, I was about and I'm like 6'5". I was about at his nipple. Okay?
What?
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
Big hands, big long hands, like out of the Goonies, like misshapen face. I'm like, my God. I'm like how big are you? Like just.
And that goes into some of what the Native American side talks about, that they weren't regular people. They had like two rows of teeth. They weren't normal looking people.
Laughed at me, and he's like, my brother. He's like, my dad's 8'11". He's like
what?
Yeah, big.
My dad's 8'11".
I'm telling you,
That's the tallest man in history, 8'11".
Big people, and people don't know about them. Guinness doesn't know about them. They live up in the woods. There's big people out there, and not
all
of them.
What is that guy, Jamie?
He's from that region, apparently. I don't know how to say that. Edouard Beaupre.
So there's just giants that live in that region.
Yeah.
8'3".
The Cree are very big people, and the thing is when they get to eat what they're supposed to eat. The problem is so many of them eat junk now, right? Because they grow up on the.
Pausing it again. It just goes back to what we were saying earlier. There was, and it goes further back. There was better diet. None of this bullshit. They were hunting, eating meat, eating veg. Like they were eating right. You had
pounds maybe, or 367. Sorry.
8 foot 2.5, 367 pounds. Age 33.
What the hell?
Whoa.
Yeah, I forget the name of these brothers, but there's a bunch of them. Yeah. Yeah, there's some weird genetics
crazy.
in there, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to try and swab him. I'll give it to Ryan before you know it.
But so this guy in Afghanistan, was this one isolated incident?
I
Where you
saw one. Yeah, I just saw the one.
And he had to be 8 feet tall.
He is big. He's big. Yeah, he's big human being, far out of the standard. Yeah, and he was a warlord.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're big. They're big people.
You know
over
what to
there.
call me now.
And so the
You're not
Kandahar
8 feet
Giants,
tall.
Maury, the
Okay.
guy
Yeah.
was supposed to be
I'm
bigger
still
than
the
that.
warlord. God damn it!
Yeah, I
Can you
heard it.
believe it?
Of what? Daytona.
I do. Yeah,
Yes.
I do. There's freaking. There are.
But this guy supposedly had like 6 fingers and 6 toes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I believe that stuff. I mean, I think that we get so used to normal people, and every once in a while there's a weirdo.
And these people are not being studied. There's no one there. Like that region of the country is extremely remote.
Extremely. Like they don't. It's like going back to like the 15th century. Like there's motorcycles and some people have gas. I mean, but they don't have electricity. Yeah, there's not.
I think we can end it there.
Yeah.
And it would proves kind of goes into what we were saying about Bigfoot, about giants being hunted, about everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, wouldn't they go to these remote places?
Yeah, 100%. And that's what one of the guys when I was looking up about the
Tea break
Kandahar
time.
Giant, you're good, was saying was that, you know, his kind of theory was maybe they fled to these very, very remote places like Afghanistan to survive. Like if you needed to go somewhere where there's not a lot of humans, Afghanistan is not the most developed place, right? It's not the most developed place. If you needed a place to hide, it's probably one of the better options you could hope.
Well, mountains and caves to go disappear into.
Yeah. And also, it's, you know, right next to the biblical world. So there's that too. It's not like it's exactly a super big adventure. Right. But it didn't show it in that clip, but one thing we were kind of alluding to it is, and this is off the topic of giants, so I'll try to make it brief, is he told another story, that same guy, about one of his special forces friends got possessed while they were over there. And hopefully the guy actually does go on Joe Rogan, because Joe Rogan asked if he would come on. He said, yeah. But the guy got possessed while he was over there. And it was to the point to where he could tell, he was telling people what their sins were and like shit he wouldn't have known, like from when they were children and stuff. And so they sent him through the medical system. They couldn't help him. He ended up having to go see priest, and they were able to help him. And he has continual meetings with these priests. And they did an exorcism, and which this is fairly common. But the exorcist said he knew the name of the demon, and he had ran into him before.
Multiple times. It was like a regular thing. Gen X, yeah, I just wanted to highlight that because I had just seen it when I said we talked about that earlier. We were talking about a lot of the biblical stuff earlier and all that stuff. So, but yeah.
Oh, that's interesting too, Mateus. Mateus said I could see them fleeing to higher altitudes during a cataclysmic flood. So Afghanistan.
Exactly.
Yep. Canada has a lot, and British Columbia has a lot of height, a lot of elevation. And I mean, and it also goes to the thing of something like that warlord he's speaking of. And then, you know, they do flee, but they find people or find a following or whatever of people that accept them. And what better way to protect yourself than with an army? So,
yeah, and of course, like who wouldn't want to have a giant on their side?
Yeah.
Even not even from like the military aspect. Just think like every day. It would be so beneficial to have this giant human being who can lift and do things that everybody else can't with ease.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you deal with it, and even Gen X deals with it. Like so many times I'm in Walmart.
Yep.
Some little old lady.
Yep.
Yeah, some little old lady. Excuse me.
Yeah. Now imagine
Yeah.
if you were 8'11", what you could do.
I just freak people out. I'd hide in a bush and jump up. Rah!
You don't
That's-
even need to be 8'11" to do. You can do that now.
Yeah.
That was my experience in Korea.
That's
I'd jump out
inconvenient.
of
That's
his bed.
inconveniently big though. Like you can't even live. You couldn't even live in my
Can't-
house.
You can't
No,
fly.
that's why they're in the mountains.
Yeah.
No car. No flights. No trains. No nothing.
Even saying now you show that clip. I think even when I sent that a link to that clip as well, I was saying, wasn't there that guy that saw the giant in a mountain in Canada? Same thing.
Mhm.
Giant's gone up to him about it. This guy disappeared after.
Yeah, I forgot about that. And that guy, he
Uh,
went and he said people were trying to basically harass him, and then he just goes completely disappeared.
Yeah.
And
Vanished.
those sometimes I think might be the people who are the most reliable to me, that are just like, this isn't worth it at this point. You know, like, nope, I'm done. I'm shutting my mouth, because maybe they really have something to say and they are being threatened. There's like, okay, man, I didn't see shit. You're
But
right.
did he shut his mouth or did they shut his mouth?
But I mean, that's what I mean. Through coercion, they could have shut his mouth. We're gonna kill your kids. We're gonna kill your family. Or here's $10 million. Shut your mouth.
Well, from what I understand, is he like disappeared, like he's gone.
Yeah, there was
I
just
mean,
like
but
no traces.
we've seen, you know, witness protection, and it's like, especially nowadays, I think it would be pretty easy for them to make someone disappear.
Oh, 100%.
I think even in witness protection, they would be found by certain people.
That's kind of what I've
Someone
gotten at
looked
too,
hard
Shelley.
enough, they would find them.
I mean, yeah, but who's really in the conspiracy circle? No one's that big on like, we need to find this guy. They're saying, oh yeah, he disappeared. Like, and
I don't know,
believe that.
dude. I don't know.
There's
People,
some curious people with a lot of skills and a lot of time on their hands.
How
What
did
it
a
takes is somebody
7'6"
to be obsessively interested.
oh
a
yeah,
7'6"
Fucking
person. That's the tallest I've met too, and it was in a bank. And I was in the bank, and it finally popped in my head, because people have said, like, to me when I stand behind them, and I'm really not. I mean, I guess I am pretty big, but I don't, not compared to 7 foot whatever. People are like, oh, I could feel you behind me. So I'm in the bank, in the line, you know, the old little like zigzag line in the bank. It was when I was landscaping. I was going to cash all my checks for plowing, and like, I'm just like, what the? I get this feeling. I'm like, what is this? And I turn around. It was this dude 7'6". And you know, I try, because it happens to me all the time. I was like, oh hey, what's up? Like, I didn't want to bother him. And then he started a conversation with me, and he says, oh, you're pretty tall. And I just look at him like, what are you talking about? I was like, how tall are you? I have to ask. I know you get it. He was like, I know I get it. And he was like, I'm 7'6". And I was like, wow. And it was really that quick. It was just like, all right, man. It was nice to meet you. Like, take care. Like,
I remember.
I felt it though. Like, I felt it over me.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the? And I turned, and it finally clicked in my head when people are like, well, I felt you behind me. Maybe that's that animal instinct of survivability.
That's
type
that
thing.
interesting
Like,
thing, is how we can judge people's sides. I remember when we ran into that guy at the gym in Georgia. I remember. I
oh
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Dude, that guy's fucking bigger than you." And we went up and talked to him. Wasn't he 7 foot flat? Like he was just right there.
Did we talk to him, or was it that
we talked to
Sean
him.
knew? I thought Sean knew him. My
No,
friend knew. Okay, I don't remember. Damn, I don't remember that. That's crazy.
No, we went up and talked to him, and he was 7 foot.
Yeah.
That was wild.
I don't like. I'm pretty good now to know that someone, and I think a lot of people are, if someone's even like an inch taller than me, because I can look at them, and if I'm like, whoa, you know, if I know they're like an inch taller than me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
7'6" is massive though. That's like that woman in the
Wemby's in
sent
the
you.
playoffs, 7'5", and he just is ridiculous.
Here's the thing though. Wemby is less bigger than you, as is those 8'11" dudes is to Wemby. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Isn't that
That's
crazy? Yeah.
crazy.
But also Wemby, I don't think is built like the biblical or historical giants.
No, he's
Like
like
they
an
weren't like
alien.
Wemby can't box out, a
Jack.
6'5" guy. He's like, I think he on record he's like 236 pounds.
Yeah, dude. He needs to put some weight on. He'd be unstoppable if he put on about 50 pounds.
But he'd lose his athleticism. I think he'd lose his speed. LeBron did it. Sorry, side. LeBron was my weight at my height. I think LeBron's 6'9". He was at. I mean, he didn't carry around a little belly like I have, but he was 6'9", if you remember, and he went up to like 280, 270, 280 pounds. But then he dropped all of his weight, and he was faster, quicker, better.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron's a freak athlete though. He's never.
Yeah.
he's-
Anyway.
he, all right, yeah. Let's get back on topic.
Sorry, we'll sidebar this and then
Yeah.
let's get into the North American. We haven't touched that. I was leaving that to you because I know you're more well versed. I know some of it, but I know you know a lot more. And I
Okay.
want to go into the red hair giants, the Shelley giants.
Okay. Well, it's not. I want to make sure I
NK.
get all this stuff up here. It's not only North America because I really want to dive into this. I really want to dive into this Google Docs because it is awesome. It has a bunch of newspaper clippings, and this is about the best evidence we get.
And you know what I do to you, Shelley? I spit and say, "Yeah, it's nice and sunny up here. How's it down there?"
Oh my God, rude. But
Sorry.
so I put this in the Discord for everybody who's wondering. I put it in general. It's a Google Docs with a bunch of old newspapers about, most of them are from the 1800s, talking about giants being seen.
Hold on. This is also a good point. Sorry, he put it up. And maybe that's how Bigfoot came about.
Dude, maybe.
Inbreeding. And I just got hairy. Don't mind my back hair. You can't see it. I'm wearing a shirt.
Well, also, if you're living out there in the wild, you would naturally become more hairy.
Look what happens when a domesticated pig, you put them outside and you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jay. I just wanted to
No, you're good.
Yeah.
So let me start with this. All right, so I'm going to kind of start with the biggest, and we're going to kind of work our way down to a little bit more smaller ones, but I thought the biggest ones were the most fascinating. So I found two old newspaper articles. Let me get everything ready to share here real quick. Two old newspaper articles. You might have to add it to the stage.
Oh shit. Yep. Thank you. Wait, where's yours, Mr. PJ? Here we go.
Okay. So this is from 1919. A 32-foot giant skeleton is reportedly found in Mexico. So this is from Mexico City, October 14th. The fossilized remains of a giant measuring more than 32 feet and 10 inches in height were, according to report, recently discovered by workers near the little village of Nanacamilapa, state of Veracruz. The natives, who still cling to the many of the traditions of their Indian ancestors, declared the giant was related to the gods of their forefathers. They erected a, I'm not sure what that word is, catafalque, whatever, in the plaza upon which the giants rested in the state for many days. The discovery attracted the attention of scientists here. Manuel Gamo, director of anthropology of the National Museum, expects to leave soon for Nanacapilla to investigate. He is inclined to believe the fossil is that of a prehistoric vertebrate, not human. Kind of interesting. You're muted. 32
This is the
foot.
thing I didn't dive into out of all the stuff that we shared with each other, but
Check out the Google Docs. It's wild.
Yeah.
All right.
Now that you're pulling this stuff up, it's here.
You could take this one down. I'm gonna pull up this next one real quick. Let me share because I just want to kind of. There's a whole bunch of these, so I want to kind of.
We kind of got in that earlier, Gen X, but it's also like so. Jay had asked why would the Vatican cover it up, which makes sense. Why would they? Because it proves parts of the Bible, right?
Yeah, proves the biblical narrative.
But then it goes into Smithsonian. But a lot of people say the Smithsonian is pretty much run by the Vatican. But I think maybe it was more at a certain time. I think these things were. I mean, they were. The giant bones were in that museum, and then they took them. I think it's more of like. I'll pull this up while I'm talking. More of the narrative and everything, and like the narrative of humans are the apex. We are the best. We are to try to keep people comfortable, like keep people, the sheep with their head down, consuming the grass, so to speak. But yeah, I don't know.
So this one is from India. Let me try to find the date here. Okay. This is from August 9th, 1934. That's not that long ago. Like 1900s, you're getting out of the point where I think you can like deliberately say this is misidentification, in my opinion. Granted,
and I think
go ahead.
Sorry. I think in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, and moving on from the 20s onwards is where a lot of this control of the narrative, like a lot of these things got controlled. It wouldn't end up in the newspaper after this. It would be like, well, no, wait a minute type thing.
Yeah. Yep. All the newspapers started going away from local and everything and massive corporations. But this one's a little hard to read. I'll do my best. Some of it's cut off. But this is a 31-foot giant found in India. A discovery of worldwide importance is reported from the village of Panthis in the Jubalapur district, central province, where a giant human skeleton has been unearthed. A man washing in the river noticed the skeleton protruding from the bank and had to get the assistance of 3 others before he could pull it out. The skeleton proved to be 31 and a half feet long. The legs are 10 feet long. The skeleton has been removed to the palace of the chief of the Dali state. And then this is interesting too. I'm glad I scrolled down because this goes into some other stories too. So it says notable giants. It was usual in early times for cities to have their legends of giants. London had Gog and Magog, whose I can't read that word. I'm assuming it's some word for height, but 14 feet high. Still stand in Guildhall. Antwerp and Antigonus was 40 feet high, and Danube Gant 22 feet high. Of authenticated giants mentioned may be made of Frederick the Great's Scott giant, 8 feet 3 inches in height. Patrick Coder was an Irishman, 8 feet 7 feet, who died in 1802. Chang Wu, 8 feet 2, who appeared in London in 1856 to 1886, and again in 1880. And then if you go down here, it tells us about England's biggest. England's biggest native-born giant was John Middleton, 9'3". His hand was 17 inches long and 8.5 inches broad.
Jesus.
And here's another one from France.
His hand was as wide as, like, from me to here. His hand was about that wide. That's crazy.
Crazy, dude. A giant was exhibited in Rhone, France in the early part of the 18th century, and he was 17 feet 10 inches. Orpus, the surgeon, tells of a Swedish giant of 10 feet at the age of 9. Turner, the naturalist, says he saw a giant of 12 feet in Brazil. While Tevitt, I think that's 1575. It's a little fade. It might be 1875. Published an account of a giant South American of 11 feet 5 inches.
But I also want to tell you, it's probably all the 1800s. and knowing how expeditions, exploration, and all that worked back then, I firmly believe that one guy could have gone out and come back and said, "Oh, I saw a 10-foot man." Another dude goes out and comes back and says, I mean, it could be more than that, but knowing how it was back then in England, exploration was very big, very popular, and very lucrative, right? That's all I'm
Yeah.
going to say about this particular article, because this is the English one. In those time frames, these dudes could go out, write, and draw a picture and write in their journal and say, "Yeah, mine was bigger." No, mine was bigger. Oh, I found a new one. It's big. That's
It
it.
wasn't all England though. Like the 17-foot one was France, the other one was Swedish, but they could still be competing. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. And some of this I wanted to relate because I had mentioned it last week. And you mentioned India, the Kailasa temple, the Ellora caves, the Ajanta caves, a lot of these things. And there's certain, I don't remember specifically, is one of the things I read today. And it's funny, there's no videos on this stuff, right? There's real no, like I was looking, trying to cross-reference to YouTube and see if we could pull up some cool clips. There's really no videos. But in the written documentation, there's a lot of these in these like the Ellora caves. Is cave 16 is the Kailasa temple, which is this, they didn't build it up, they carved out of pure basalt, they carved down and built these things. But there's these like giant doorways, they say that, like,
Yeah.
what were they made for? It wasn't for a person, because everything else in the architecture is built this way. But then there's these giant ones that, and it's just,
And what about some of these palaces that have these massive doors and there's these huge handles like 12 feet up? Why are
Yeah.
those there? You
Yeah.
know, I find that interesting.
It goes more towards what we were saying. It's the hidden side of things, right?
It is.
Like maybe it is towards where there are these things that happen, but they're hiding it. They're not saying this to protect us, protect whatever, protect our way of thinking.
Shelley said in Ireland, theirs are 50.
Imagine an Irish person fighting over how tall their giants are. Sorry.
No, I agree with that, Mateus. Like genetic mutations are well documented, but it can't explain a 17-foot tall person. Like that's triple the size of an average person.
Yeah, 17, 20, 30 foot. That's not a genetic.
In my
mutation,
opinion,
yeah.
once you get above like 9, anything above 9 feet, like
tallest documented person that is 8'11". So when you get over 9 feet, like, yeah, I think it's beyond genetic mutation. It goes into different race or different.
and even those freaks over like 8 feet tall. Who's to say they don't have something in their genes, like some type of crossbreeding or something? Like
This is interesting too. I didn't mean to cut you off. Gen X just said the cubits that are the measurement in the Bible is a human's, but what if it were measured in a giant's?
I don't know. Well, how long is a cubit? I don't remember.
Quex knows better. I don't know off the top of my head. He had it, but I think he might be dealing with the pup or something right now.
All right, let me look it up real quick. I can look it up.
Yeah, tip of the finger to the elbow.
A cubit's 18 inches.
What's my cubit? I don't have my tape measure up here, do I? I usually keep one everywhere. No, I don't have
18. Okay, 18 to 22 inches. Okay. Okay, all right, you got this one pulled up. So this one, this is from Flagstaff, Arizona, July 11th, 1919. So up here in the top left is where the article is. I'll try to zoom in as much as I can here. but it says a giant skeleton 18 feet tall. This is in America, Austin, Texas, June 14th. If the report that a fossilized skeleton of a giant 18 feet tall has been found near Seymour, Texas is true, it is the most important ethnological discovery ever made in the world. Excuse me, remarked Dr. J.E. Pierce, professor of anthropology of the University of Texas. It would break out all previous records of giants by nearly 10 feet, as the tallest man known to anthropological research was only 8 feet 5 inches. The skeleton is in the possession of W.J. McKinley, Houston, Texas, oil prospector, who found it and has been seen by a number of people who vouch for the truth of the size of the relic of a heretofore. Oh, I'm being retarded right now. How do you, whatever.
I can't
Unknown
read
race.
it from my, yeah.
Mr. McKinley, while making an excavation on the narrow watershed between the Brazos and the Wichita rivers, came upon the fossilized skeleton near the surface. Mr. McKinley writes, I estimate that this man weighed from 2,000 to 2,500 pounds. According to my deductions, he lived about 2,800 years ago. The skull is 6 times the size of that of an ordinary man.
Imagine a 2,500 pound human.
Imagine
him on
18 foot tall human.
Put him on the O line for the Patriots, not
Yeah,
the
he is-
not the Browns. Just because I've been told Gen X likes the Browns. Unfortunate, but
Oh, give him a break. It's rough being a Browns fan. It's hard
yeah,
enough
that's why you're not a loyal fan and went to a Broncos fan.
Keep saying that.
I hope he gives you shit about that.
No, Shelly, you can curse out Mr. P as much as you want. But I thought that one was interesting. The bigger they are, the more interesting they are to me. Like, all this stuff is interesting, but when you're talking about these, what I would assume to be pre-flood giants, like it's
I just imagine like an 18-foot human. Like, I'm looking up right now, and being like 2,500 pound, 18-foot human. Like,
Dude.
Elephants, anything doesn't
giraffe,
really matter.
maybe? Yeah, like
No, but I'm saying like they could just. I mean, an elephant might outweigh them, but dexterity, fingers.
Imagine how
phalanges,
fast they would be. Dude.
That's how they would run. You'd hear them run. It wouldn't
Yes.
be bum 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 bum.
Yes. Shelly likes the Browns.
Yeah, well, she's from
not-
Ireland, so
Yeah, she's not from Cleveland.
yeah, but I mean,
All right.
What
one
else
other
we
thing
got?
one other thing I thought that was interesting about that article was the fact that the oil prospector had the bones. And it kind of got me thinking, you hear about these super rich people having these pieces of art that should be in museums and stuff. Like, could that be where some of these giant bones are? Some billionaire, they have
that
these.
too, but also an oil prospector is prospecting for oil, right? Drilling,
yes.
digging,
Yeah.
whatever. It would make sense too, but I get that too. I think a lot of art. I'm sorry, I know. Just tell me to shut the fuck up sometimes, Jordan.
You're good.
I don't mean to cut you off. It's just
No, you're good.
part
You
of
weren't cutting me off.
I know. I just catch it sometimes. What just fell? Oh, I think so much of art and history is lost to the mega rich. Like someone probably has an 18-foot giant skeleton. Oh, I'm glad you can highlight it too. Okay, good. Someone has an 18-foot giant skeleton in their living room. Like,
Yes.
You know what I mean? Some billionaire probably has that. You're right.
Yes.
And probably has lost works of Picasso and all these people that should be in there. And it's a known thing. The black market on art and archeology and all this stuff is very big. So yeah, I think you're right. What's a museum to say no to someone that could fund their operating prices for 15 years?
Yep.
Okay, give me 10 billion for this. some super rich guy. I mean, that's exorbitant, but give me, 600 million for this, some ultra rich guy, just so he can show his friends, like, hey, Jay, come over my house, and I have,
Look at
an
this.
and I have an original Picasso hanging on the wall. Be like, oh damn, dude.
Yeah.
That makes I'm glad you brought that up. That makes a lot of sense when it comes to these lost things. Maybe it's not only Smithsonian, maybe it's not only that, maybe it's documented shit that these ultra rich people can say, this is real.
hmm And
You might
we
be,
get to know it.
yeah, you might have $5 billion. I have 20 billion. Come look at this, man.
This is what 20 billion gets you. It gets you
Yeah.
knowledge. Look at this. Look at this skull I have that's as big as me.
And I like how you said that gave me chills. And
Yeah,
then
I
we
mean,
get
that's what
into
it
the
is.
ultra rich and we get into the ultra everything.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe it gets you knowledge. I like,
It for sure does, dude. It
does
for
God
sure does.
exist? How did this happen? How did this Cleopatra? That gave me chills to my bone. I still got chills. Maybe this is why these people get addicted to it. These people get rich. You get Elon. These people like, all right, man, you're a billionaire. Now he's working on a trillionaire. Isn't he? Isn't Elon working on becoming like the first trillionaire?
Well,
Like,
first documented. Yeah.
but like, why? When your personal wealth gets that, so like, why? That's beyond generational. That's beyond
Yeah,
the
You're
century.
talking
That's beyond.
GDPs of countries.
Yeah, why not give it away in the country you operate in? Like, you have so much money where you could just, like, why not help
Maybe it's
things
because
out?
he knows it's going to be worthless here pretty soon.
Like, yeah, we don't need to go there, but that gave me chills. Is that maybe these ultra rich start getting knowledge, and the more they climb, the more knowledge they get because the more money they have. And
I think there is something to that. You see a lot of these ultra rich people building bunkers, buying islands and shit. It's like, what do you guys know? Like, you can't tell me you're just interested in this shit and just like, oh, I got some extra money laying around. Let me build a bunker. Like, I don't buy that. But
yeah,
let me. I'm gonna add this one to the stage real quick. This is
oh, you
another
can
one.
add it too. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is another one. This is from California, 1876. This one's gonna be a little hard to read. It's a little faded, so you're gonna have
I'm
to bear
listening.
with me. So excuse me. California mail extracts. The remains of a giant, a remarkable discovery near Maysville, Kentucky. Okay, so this is from Kentucky. I apologize. It's from a California newsletter. A party of hunters stumbled upon a mammoth cave. They find the skeleton of a giant with copper helmet and sword. So this is what I found interesting about this one. So Maysville, Kentucky, March 30th, an exceedingly interesting discovery was made a few days ago by a party of young men while out hunting near the town of Augusta, some 14 or 15 miles from this city. While beating about for game upon the lands of S.K. Veach, a well-known farmer of the neighborhood, in a dense thicket of young elms upon the side of the hill, their dog suddenly disappeared through an opening some 3 or 4 feet in diameter, which proved upon examination to be the entrance to a cavern that promises to reveal in magnificence and grandeur the world-renowned Mammoth Cave of southern Kentucky. The mouth of this cavern, oh my gosh, what just happened? Okay. The mouth of this cavern appears to have been covered with large flat rocks that slipped away from the opening together with a large mass of earth. And this, I can't read that word, I'm sorry, indicated the extents of the cave. This stone, which evidently...
It is blurry as hell.
Yeah, some of these are very hard to read. This stone, which is evidently a front door to a dwelling of some of the mysteries people who lived and had their being in the Ohio Valley interior to the advent of the modern Indian, was nearly Indian was nearly overgrown with moss and measured 5 feet or more one way and little less than 4 feet the other way. Underneath the moss has been traced a hieroglyphical inspiration, which it is not improbable to suppose may have been made for the purpose of signifying to the passerbys as the modern door plates do the names of the dwellers inside. Okay.
So it was like a family like it's old language too. It was like if you had your number on top of your door, like telling that's what it's talking about. Okay, go ahead.
So the young men were stumped, as it were, upon a knowledge of the existence of this underground wonder where too much. I can't even read that bottom line. Let me see if it's continued up here. Okay. All right, we're just going to go down here. A giant skeleton. In the center of this room, there loomed out of the darkness an immense square, moss-covered bunch of loose stones carefully laid one upon the other after the fashion of the rock fences common in this section of the country. There could be no doubt that this monument was the result of human labor expended properly thousands of years ago. The top of this sarcophagus, for such it proved to be, was covered by the slabs of thin rock evidently transported from the surface. They were carefully removed, disclosing a square vault that had been plastered with mud mixed with small pieces of straw and twigs of trees and bushes. In the center of this vault, in a sitting posture, that's interesting, was found the skeleton of a human figure, entire and perfectly preserved by the dry atmosphere of the cave. As there was an appearance of flesh upon the bone, it is probable that the body had been prepared in the open air, denuded of flesh, and afterwards removed to the cave for burial. The bones were taken carefully out of the vault, laid upon the floor, and by the rough measurements the young men were able to make found to be of the man over 8 feet 6 inches in height. The skull measured nearly 12 inches in the shortest diameter. All right. In the vault at the side of the skeleton was found an implement of copper, 4 feet 3 inches in length, that weighs 4 pounds and appears to have been intended for a weapon of defense. It is roughly made and was probably fashioned from the native copper of the lake regions. The sword is slightly bent, tapers to a point, and has somewhat the appearance of I can't read that word, it's blurry, upon its outing edge. I apologize, guys. This is kind of hard to read.
Looks like it says a saw. Appearance of a saw upon its outer edge.
Okay.
Well, it probably
Or
battle
cutting edge.
damage, like battle damage on it. It was used. I want to pause you one thing. I did highlight it. Metallurgy wasn't big in the native people, and he was
not
right
at
about
all.
that. And
That's
it
why I
goes
wanted
back
to
to the
bring that up.
Copper Age. It goes back to Goliath. It goes back to relating to the biblical side of things. And that's what, when you said copper, I was like, oh shit. Like, but anyways, keep going. Oh, okay, you're done.
No, I mean that was pretty much it on that one. I mean, there was some other stuff, but that was the main thing. It was the giant and then the sword found with it.
Yeah, I think Quex was right.
Apparently, South and Central American indigenous people practice full metallurgy, but North American indigenous didn't.
Metallurgy?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Like the natives didn't. That's why arrowheads are everywhere. And there's people that go out. You can still find arrowheads. Like they didn't. Why do it if you don't need it? They were so self-sufficient. They were. But yeah. Plus being nomadic, and most of them were nomadic. You're not gonna build shit for metallurgy when you're moving all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, true. He did have a point when they say metallurgy, and I think that might have some. I mean, you can look it up. I don't know, but in the South American, I think it mainly was gold, and gold doesn't take a lot of heat, doesn't take a lot of anything. I don't know if that's what he was saying, but I know in South America, gold was going back to the Mayans and everything. There was gold where you could melt
Mm-hmm.
over a fire in embers, but that's considered metallurgy. So yeah. All right, what else we got? I know there's I
I
just
think, Joe.
31 foot. I know Ohio has a lot of shit from the yeah, because that takes a lot more heat to work. Like,
Yeah, I think iron came much later.
yeah. And only in America did we find a lot of these deposits, copper, silver, iron, all this stuff much deeper and we had great ore. Like when you look at the mining out west and even, for coal and other things here on the East Coast, like that shit's fascinating to me. Like what some of these dudes were doing in the early 1900s and how deep they were digging and how they would find these veins and like build these massive shafts that went diagonally 2,000 feet into the ground. And there was no pneumamic or hydraulic systems really back then. These dudes were in there digging using
Oh,
dynamite.
pneumatic.
There you go. Sorry.
I
Pneumatic.
had to think for a moment.
Yeah. I don't know why but there was none of that shit. And that's one of I like people that go and see these things. I like watching it, that go into these old caves from the early 1900s. And these dudes were 2,000 feet under the ground. And you can see the vein they're following, like through their shafts. And they're at these depths just blowing up dynamite, chiseling away, chipping away. It's fascinating, man. That shit fascinates me. Like, God, talk about dudes who came here willing to work and create wealth for themselves. Jeez. Yeah. They did use antlers there. You Irish folk or something else. Nothing against you. I mean, strong people. Grew up with all of you. Some of it runs in my blood. Little bit, but all right, Jay, you're muted or something.
Yeah, I said that a minute ago.
Oh, am I good now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry. Okay, let me control F here. Okay. All right, so this is from a Paiute woman, and she's kind of just detailing the history of her people. And this ties directly into the Lovelock Cave story. If you don't not familiar with the Lovelock Cave story, so it's a cave in Nevada where some people who were harvesting guano, bat shit, found a bunch of giant skeletons, and the cave seemed burnt at the entrance. A lot of people counted that as myth, and then this woman, it's kind of interesting. She wrote this kind of like a history book. It's a little bit of a family history book too, but in it she says, I'll just read through this part. So let me find it here. I want to start at a good spot. Okay. My people would ask them, okay, I want to make sure I get all this in because it talks about how they had a war. It doesn't say giant specifically, but it is going to be kind of interesting because it ties in. Okay. Among the traditions of our people is one of the small tribes of barbarians who used to live along the Humboldt River. It was many hundred years ago. They used to waylay my people and kill and eat them. They would dig large holes in our trails at night, and if our people traveled at night, which they did, for they were afraid of these barbarous people. They would oftentimes fall into these holes. The tribe would even eat their own dead. Yes, they would even come and dig our dead after they were buried and would carry them off to eat them. Now and then they would come and make war on my people. They would fight, and as fast as they killed one another on either side, the woman would carry off those who were killed. My people say that they were very brave. This is crazy. When they were fighting, they would jump in the air after the arrows that went over their heads and shoot the same arrows back again. My people took some of them into their families, but they could not make them like themselves. So at last they made war on them. This war lasted a long time ago. Their number was about 2,600. The war lasted some 3 years. My people killed them in great numbers, and what few were left went into the thick bush. My people set the bush on fire. This was above Hubold Lake. Then they went to work and made truly or bulrush boats and went into the Hubold Lake. They could not live there very long without fire. They were nearly starving. My people were watching them all around the lake and would kill them as fast as they would come on land. At last, one night, they all landed on the east side of the lake and went into a cave near the mountains. It was a horrible place, for my people watched at the mouth of the cave and would kill them as they came out to get water. My people would ask them if they would be like us and not eat people like coyotes or bees. They talked the same language, but they would not give up. At last, my people were tired and they went to work, gathered wood, and began to fill up the mouth of the cave. Then the poor fools began to pull the wood inside till the cave was full. At last, my people set it on fire. At the same time, they cried out to them, "Will you give up and be like men and not eat people like beasts? Say quick, we will put out the fire." No answer came from them. My people said they thought the cave must be very deep or far into the mountain. They had never seen the cave nor known it was there until then. They called out to them as loud as they could, "Will you give up? Say so, or you will all die." But no answer came. Then they all left the place. In 10 days, some went back to see if the fire had gone out. They went back to the third or fifth great-grandfather and told him they must all be dead. There was such a horrible smell. This tribe was called people eaters, and after my people had killed them all, the people around us called us Sedukara. It means conqueror. It also means enemy. I do not know how we came by the name Paiutes. It is not an Indian word. I think it is misinterpreted. Sometimes we are called pine nut eaters, for we are only tribe that lives in the country where pine nut grows. My people say that the tribe we exterminated had reddish hair. I have some of their hair, which has been handed down from my father to son. I have a dress which has been made in our family a great many years, trimmed with reddish hair. I'm going to wear it sometime when I lecture. You're muted.
Interesting.
You're muted. You were just muted too.
I'm just letting you know. You want me to just let you sit there and blabber and nobody hears you?
Yeah, sometimes that might be the better
Jeez.
option. But yeah, it kind of lines up, and more than lines up.
It lines up with the Lovelock Cave story for sure.
Yep, exactly.
And the red hair.
He's one of them, guys. He's one of them.
My hair's blonde. What are you
You're the
talking
tallest
about?
one here.
Your beard is red as hell.
Yeah, and you're more of a Nephilim giant than any of us.
I gotta go.
All right, let me make
Descendant
sure.
of Nimrod.
Listen,
Excuse me.
we all know why you don't show your face. It's because you're AI or you're an alien. Either one. I come from this earth.
All right, I'm just going to share this one. This is it's similar to the Google Docs. This is just something somebody made. It's a Microsoft Word. But a lot of these I already had pulled up, and they are newspaper clippings. So especially these Ohio ones. This one, there's a couple more Ohio ones. I found these original sources. But we'll just go through all these. Where are we at? We're already at 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is just like a document somebody made. Somebody was interested in this stuff. So it just kind of goes into a timeline of giant discoveries in America. So, very large bones and stone graves found in Williamson County, Tennessee. Author John Haywood describes very large bones and stone graves found in Williamson County, Tennessee in 1821. In White County, Tennessee, an ancient fortification contains skeletons averaging at least 7 feet in length. What's up?
Sorry, I was just laughing at the comments. Keep
Oh,
going. I wasn't laughing at you.
okay, here's another one. In Branton, Tennessee, footprints believed to be human were found in solid rock, 33 inches, they say long, they mean long, and 1 foot wide. These have 6 toes each. And that's interesting because I'm sure you guys, maybe somebody can pull it up, but all these giant footprints that are around the world in stone, like they're essentially fossilized footprints.
I hear Queck's typing, so I think he's.
All right,
No,
the
sorry.
next one.
Oh, I
And
thought you were pulling up.
there's just so much record of this. It can't all be false, but 1792, Buffalo, New York, reports that 7 and 8 foot skeletons were found at an earthen fort in Orleans County with broad, flat top skulls. That's interesting. I think another important thing to add is like, if the skeleton's 7 to 8 feet tall, then you have to add a few inches in there for how tall the person was. All right, 1800 Ohio. Among the normal-sized skeletons found in the remains of mounds were found gigantic bones. Some of the skulls and jaws were large enough to fit over the head and face of a normal man. Sorry, I gotta send a message real quick.
I'm looking up the toes.
All right. Continuing on. So 1829, during the construction of a hotel in Chesterville, workers digging up a mound discovered a large human skeleton. The local doctor examining the skeleton said the skull could have easily fit over a normal man's head. In addition, the skeleton had more teeth than a modern man. And that kind of lines up with what you hear a lot of times of them having multiple rows of teeth. 1845, on the Wapatamonka have been found numerous Indian relics, among which was a highly
Well done. Sorry,
Thank you.
done.
Thank you. Was a highly finished pipe representing a snake coiled around the bowl. There was also discovered under the jawbone of a human being of great size, and it was more remarkable the teeth stood transversely in the jawbone. It would pass over a man's face with entire ease. What does that mean, transversely in the jawbone? I'm too much of an idiot to know what that means.
Well, I think that's very transversely. I think that means multiple rows. I don't know.
All right, I'll just keep going on. This is another one. 1856, a decayed human skeleton claimed by eyewitnesses to measure around 3.28
Transversely
meters.
is cheek to tongue.
What? So they went in?
Yeah, transverse is the context of the jawbone, refers to the width or bucolingual cheek to tongue dimension, specifically the relationship between the upper jaw and the lower jaw.
So it's multiple rows of teeth, I think. That's what, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so 1856, a decayed human skeleton claimed by eyewitnesses to measure 3.28 meters, or an American 10 feet 9 inches tall, was unearthed by laborers while plowing a vineyard in 1856 in East Wheeling. That's right near where I live, Wheeling, West Virginia. 1872, another one, Seneca Township, Ohio. 3 skeletons, all were at the very least 8 feet tall, with bone structures in proportion to their height. These skeletons all had double rows of teeth. 1857, workmen were constructing a bridge near the mouth of Paw Paw Creek at Rivesville. While digging through heavy clay soil, they were astonished to uncover 3 giant skeleton strands of hair, reddish hair, clinging to the skulls. A local doctor was called to examine the remains. So we'll go down here to this Ashtabula County, Ohio one, 1878. Mounds were excavated on land belonging to Pell Sweet, yielded a skull and a jaw large enough that the skull would cover Sweet's head and the jaw could easily slip over his face. Excavating further, they discovered these mounds contained the graves estimated between 2 and 3,000. So the graves of 2 and 3,000. Many other skeletons found were of gigantic proportion.
So about these 6-toe things, yeah, in Chaco Canyon in New Mexico, they basically look at people with extra digits as being kind of divine. And apparently those people from there like 1,000 years ago or so had like a higher rate of people being born or that had extra fingers or extra toes and shit. They apparently actually have skeletons, some skeletons of them.
I mean,
Damn.
I don't know. I feel like biblically, historically, before shit started getting censored heavily, like I talked about, it started in the. I think I really feel like it started in World War One, but really hit here in America in the 40s because of the war. And you see it in these newspaper articles and all this stuff, even when beyond giants, you see it with the aliens. Before shit was censored, what we see in archaeological, just from the one thing I found, I don't know, it really seems that it leads to that there were giants in my eyes. From what I see, from what I hear, I feel like a very I would
I
agree.
mean,
That's the thing. There's too much across history that it matches up too much, even though the stories and interpretations are so different. If there was all the exact same story over 10,000 years, then I'll be like, it could be bullshit. But me, I'm more likely to believe it. The fact that there's so many different interpretations of seeing the same thing from various different parts of the world, there has to be something to it. They can't all be making up the same shit.
no.
Yeah, I agree. And I really feel the heyday of archaeology and everything was late 1800s to early 1900s. And then shit got taken control of. You weren't putting out information that wasn't approved of. And
Yeah.
and you see it in all these articles Jay just read. You see it in all these early archaeological shit, like all the stuff in India that I talked about, the cave systems. All these things were late 1800s to early 1900s, and then World War One happened, and I think that was the big changing point. And then the power of propaganda came in, and the power of altering what and the systems that were put in place that allowed people to change and manipulate information that was getting to regular people. And so that's why I credit to a lot to what you were just reading, Jay, is that these 1920s, 30s, this shit was coming out in newspapers. It was coming, and it may not be a headliner, but it was there.
Mhm.
And if you go back into documents in books and literature, it was there. You go back into some of even science fiction literature, it was there. Maybe because by passing, I talked to Jay. Jay's an archaeologist. He says, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm a science fiction writer. I write Journey to the Center of the Earth. Shit like this on different levels, right?
Yeah.
And then you see it really cave in. And then after 30s 40s we start growing into high sci-fi where it's more out there. It's not so close to home anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe by design, right?
It's got to be by design. And
Yeah.
Mateus said paleontology is well known for being corrupt, and I think that kind of goes into what you were saying too. But archaeology is also very corrupt. Very
Well,
like we see it with Graham Hancock. Graham Hancock, he spent a lot of time discussing and researching and going to these sites that prove that there there is strong evidence for an ancient civilization, a global cataclysmic event. And one of his most recent books, which I have, is that there were people in America before the last ice age, and he's always attacked by mainstream archaeology.
Sorry, so much just hit me at once. I see poop breath behind you.
Oh yeah, there he
I
is.
see poop breath, Artemis.
Yep.
I see them
There he
all
is.
behind you. Sorry, Shelly brought up, or who oh no. Gen X brought up there's a old book, Fawns, Fairies, and I have it. Uh and it goes into that. And this guy was a priest, I believe, and wrote a book. He went in and dove into that side of things. Fuck, I'm gonna look it up now. But read the book, and it's really his kind of what he portrays as, I will say, his actual events of diving into these things of fawns, fairies, and the other spectrum of things. And it's, if you're into esoteric, into all this stuff, and you want to go deeper, it's kind of one of those texts. That's why it's bothering me. It's not in my head, sorry. But it dives into that side of things. Of Vaughn's. I'm
Well,
trying
just
to
to
look
kind
up.
of, I'm just going to answer it for like as my own person. What do you all think about the other end of the spectrum, like elves, fairies, and such? I'm at the point now to where, like, if somebody comes out to me and they say, I saw fairies, I'm, yeah, okay.
Well, I think this is what he's getting at, because he's a little older. I think he's getting at this, and this is the book. You can get it for free.
He just
in
called you
PDF.
old. He called you old Gen X.
Oh my God. It's The Secret Commonwealth of Elves, Fawns, and Fairies. And it was a priest who went out and wrote this book. And it's like his own, maybe he was on shrooms, maybe whatever, but it's his own account of it. You better pick up Artemis. No, don't pick her up. She's comfy.
by Robert Kirk. And then Julian.
Yep. Read that book, man. Read that book. It's like, it's pretty profound in its own sense. And maybe it's all bullshit, but I don't know if that's what you were talking about, Gen X, but America Before.
America Before. This is Mateus said. I've read all Graham Hancock's works. They're fantastic. I haven't. This is the only one I've read, but it is very, very interesting. If you are interested in alternative view of America, and he prevents hard evidence too. It's very interesting.
Well, and that's where I'll pull it up too, because it's one of my favorite books. Very textbooky, but it's one of my favorite books. And I think it's more so they're different spiritual beings. I think they're older.
Yes.
I think fawns, fairies, I think they're much. They're like,
as long as orcs aren't real.
spirits. Yeah, as long as they're, but
Yeah.
I think they're like the essence of nature. Like they're beyond human. They're so old that they're like the creation of life. And I understand that's in the Bible too, but maybe the Bible just leaves that part out, right? Maybe the Bible's saying this is where we start, is the creation of man. Whereas I
That's
think,
what I think.
elves, fawns, and fairies might be the creation of trees, of everything else. But yeah, since he pulled out a book, I'm
Now you
smart
say
too.
that, yeah.
I read books too.
That's the thing that I've always thought about with Genesis, because although it describes how the earth was made and whatnot, when you go back to the older versions, they don't necessarily say it was created out of nothing. It says it was here, but it never had form. And that it was given form, it was given these things. And
Yeah.
then you go back to certain older scriptures and they speak of like this cosmic battle. which,
Hmm.
to my understanding, would just be spiritual beings or interdimensional beings battling it out. So we don't actually know what existed before us. All we know is the point from our creation onwards. And I think that's why a lot of these things get suppressed, because it shows you that something was here before. And if that proof comes out, people are going to have way too many questions.
And that's the reason why
apart.
I actually got into the book I was talking about, The Secret Commonwealth of Fauns, Fairies, Elves, whatever, was this guy. And I know, Jordan, you have a lot on your list, but very textbooky. This dude is pretty good. He really dove into the esoteric, but he goes a lot into relating what we know as like religion to older stuff like fauns, fairies. It goes into, he relates, you know, the Bible to Sumerianism. He does a really good job in all that. But yes, Quex, I agree too. Whereas there's stuff
Shelly
left
called
out.
somebody fat. Probably me. She probably saw me get up. Like, look at
No, she said there's a
No,
balance
no.
if you go far enough into it, but she put far as fat.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just giving her shit.
Uh,
But my mind, when I heard the fairies, and maybe this is I just spent too much time on the internet, it went to what we hear described as like the Nordics when they talk about aliens and stuff. Could they have just
could be.
Well, you know,
advanced?
the Nordic too, like you put butter out in your backyard
Yeah.
to appease the fairies, like
Yeah. Because that's where that mythology comes from, is the Nordics, right? And that the elves and the fairies, that's both Nordic mythology, I believe.
See, you need to watch Disclosure Day, motherfucker, because there's something I want to say that could
Oh
kind
my
of link to
God.
this, but if I say it, it spoils it, so I can't say shit.
All right, let's watch it after this.
No, but-
Okay. Aren't you leaving?
No, we're going tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'm going to
Okay.
knock out a lot of reading tomorrow. So.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so just
here's
had
the
a
thing,
nap, so-
and I will say I think a lot of us do read. I mean, that's probably everyone here to some extent does read. I think it's being lost. Sorry, sidebar here. I think it's being lost with media today. Maybe by design. You know me. It's by design. It's all by design. But reading is like, put down your phone, put down this. I mean, don't put down this podcast. Watch, like, subscribe, share, you know.
Yeah, pick up the phone for the podcast,
But,
put it down for everything else.
But reading is, I think, one of our last like vestiges. Is that the right word? Is one of our last strongholds. Like, read, please read. It doesn't matter what you read, what it does to your brain, what it does to everything. Like, please
We're already
pick
losing
up.
it because
Yeah,
people go to shorts.
and I think
instead of a
that's the
book.
next step. And I think that's the next step of separating us from our mind, right? Because if you can read and you have the ability to read and visualize and think these things, because these are people that read, like, I mean, Jay, anyone can admit, like, who reads can say, like, I can read and I can visualize it. So it's making that connection between your eyes and your brain. I think that might be our last step, because our mouth is being taken from us, right? Jay, you weren't here. I said it to Queck, some guy in a clip I had seen. Sorry, rant. Here comes a rant. Some guy in a clip I had seen has said, no matter what someone says to you, what you see, what you read, what you ever, do not do this for 7 days. Do not speak badly upon anyone. And
so don't say negative shit about somebody.
And negative shit about anything. Don't say, oh, they're stupid. Oh, they're whatever. Shut up and be able to take in this information, and not, because nowadays this is so powerful for a lot of people. So we take in information and we then shoot it out in a negative way, whatever. Cut that out for 7 days. Catch yourself. I'm saying, I read something, you know, me and Quex watched the Dark Weapon of Israel, whatever it is, the darkest weapon. Watch it.
Disgusting.
But then it's just, but then at the same time, and that's when it kind of hit me because I had watched this, and then I was saying to Quex, I was like, what? But then if I don't, and I just take this in, and I was kind of doing this in real time and processing it, and I don't need to say anything, although I did. I don't need to say anything. See how it changes your brain to be able to intake these things, negative or positive, but mainly we're talking about the negative here, and process it and not shut this funnel down. And that goes into why I'm saying reading, because I think the biggest thing that we have left as a connection is our eyes to our mind. Sorry.
Yeah. So I was gonna say that was gonna be hard for me, but look what Gen X said.
I know. That's what also brought it up. Sometimes
I don't do it. My problem is I don't do it. A lot of times I don't do it maliciously. It's just I like whatever's in my brain comes out. But
yeah,
no, I do think that is a good way to do it. And one thing I wanted to throw out, I would be down.
I'm sorry,
I would be down. I would be down for it, and I don't want anybody to commit to it. I used to not read a lot either, Kinsley, before I get into this, but when I was working night shift, I started reading a lot because a lot of times on the weekends, I can't switch my sleep schedule up. I was a supervisor, so it would just mess me up too much if I would do it as much as I could so I could spend what little time I did with my family, but I had to keep my sleep schedule. So a lot of times I would be up while my family was asleep, and TV shows like there's very few TV shows I would watch anymore. So I started reading a lot, and I didn't have anything to do. Everybody in my house was asleep, so I could just read and read. Like I would read. There are times I would read 300 pages in a night, and I fell in love with it. I just started. A lot of it's like fantasy and stuff like that. Like it's not all helpful shit, but I will say it gave me a huge appreciation for reading. Like the coolest shit I've seen in movies can't hold a candle to some of the stuff I've seen described in books, especially with like fantasy and stuff. But what I wanted to say is what we could do, and we don't have to agree to this, but I think it would be pretty fun, is we could do like a book club or something in the Discord.
That would be dope.
Yeah, we can do that. That'll be lit.
I don't.
I'm not reading though. Someone else has to do the reading with.
Well, I'm not even saying we have to read. We could just say this week everybody's gonna read whatever chapter 1 through 3.
Okay.
1 through 3, and then we'll just discuss it. Like that.
I think that's a great idea, because it's one of my things, and I just said it. I'm sorry. I'm being a little ranty. The alcohol has taken its hold. But if I could promote anything in the world today, right? Like one of the few things that I could promote. I just said it. Why am I saying it again? Sorry, guys. Sorry. Deal with me. I apologize. Is reading. It's just, even if you're slow, like, listen, I never liked to read when I was younger. That was what my son's dealing with it now. It was something was one of my, whatever you call it, shortcomings, or I want to say the R word, but it was reading. The R word is reading, but that was what do you call it when you go backwards?
Digress?
No. When you see things backwards.
Dyslexia.
Dyslexia. I was dyslexic, and you still see it when I talk. I mean, you can see it. Like a lot of times, not only am I backwards, but my mind goes faster than I can speak. So like in my mind, I'm and luckily I've learned to read that way. So like I can read really quickly when I get in the zone, because I'm not looking at the word. I'm doing pattern recognition and filling the blanks. So I don't even, like, half the time I don't even need and that's how I'm teaching my son, because that's how I learned. Is like, listen, I wasn't sounding out words or nothing. Like I was learning the pattern of it all. And then maybe sometimes, and you'll see when I'm reading, even on the podcast, I'll go and I'll be like, oh, wait, I have to go back because that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's
Because
a
I
bit
was
of
doing pattern
ADHD
recognition.
mixed into that.
Exactly. I was doing pattern recognition, and then I get a few words further and I go, oh, wait, I have to go back. And then I have to look at the word and say, oh, okay, now that I'm older. Yeah, that is ADHD. Yeah. But I don't know. I think that's a great idea, Jay. I think that's a great
Yeah, we
hell,
should do it.
even if that's
Yeah.
a TikTok thing or something like, and and the thing is, we can't make it like homework. We need to keep it
Oh.
low. It's not like, as you've said when I've listened to you doing your work, like, 56 chapters and, write a dissertation on how the author is feeling right now. No, it's just let's read these few chapters together and let's go talk.
Yeah. No
One
smut.
book and
There'll
a
be no
10,000 word
smut.
essay a week.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kay and Shelley, no schmut.
No smut.
No, the vampires, veiny shaft books.
This all goes to what we were saying. Well, when you were speaking about movies
I
not
know,
being able to
Shelley, yeah.
match up to the things that a story can describe when you're reading it. It just goes back to what we said about when we were speaking about AI, and it's removing people's ability to be creative and think for themselves. Because when you're reading a book, well, for me anyway, whenever I read or even hear anything, which is why I got to be careful to some of the shit that I hear people say, is my mind immediately creates a fucking video for it.
Me too.
And I feel that by people going to say things like shorts or videos rather than actually reading, they're not exercising that skill anymore.
That was the point, Gen X. That was the point.
I agree. I agree.
No, and I think people are losing that though, and that's why, like, in young kids, and I don't know if you were ever around, but I think you were, because you had agreed with it with me. See, there we go, my mind, especially under alcohol, I can't talk, but telling young kids, even when we were in the position, me and Jay, to mentor young kids, was like, listen, read. Don't do all this. Don't concentrate on all this. You try to tell these kids this, and I'm sure Gen X can agree with it. I know who Gen X is. We're not going to put it out there, but it's in one ear, out the other, and I feel like it's generational. It's always a generational thing.
Yeah, you can't tell them shit.
Yeah, you can't tell them, and then they come back later. I don't know if he has yet, but they come back later and say, "Hey, you were right."
Yep.
Like I have with my parents. I'm like, holy shit, you were right. Like,
yeah,
I don't. Yeah,
kids are punishment for how you were as a kid. I've come to figure that out. Kids are punishment for how you were.
I hope not, man. I hope not.
Gen X he's in the shorts chat. He's in the shorts. We're double streaming tonight, so we're also in the vertical view Gen X. So there are some people commenting. You might not see them, but it's because they're in the other YouTube.
That's my fault. Jay slept on the job.
I did.
On fire watch, Jay fell asleep. He wasn't guarding his
I
post.
owe a punishment stream. I'm sorry.
Yes. All right, we're gonna come up with that. Sorry, I'm overly excited. That was a little. I'm sorry. Fortnite.
No. I'm talking about on
here. Don't even go in their ears and one out the other. Some people, it bypasses their ear completely, goes around their head and just fucks off.
Well,
but
that's
then
like
I will say too,
the people who don't have an inner monologue.
I don't understand how they're real people.
They just go through life not thinking. I don't understand that shit.
I get that.
Not that kind of punishment, Mateus.
Oh my!
Oh no, Mateus!
Oh my god!
You can stop biting your lip.
What I F up? I didn't F up. I F up everything, but not this, as I'm trying not to.
Talk about the dual stream.
Oh yeah. I messed it up. That's my side.
No, yeah. I'll take the ownership on that. I woke up and we were 30 minutes into the podcast. I appreciate you guys starting it without me, though. Sorry.
I was like, I was honestly worried about you because you always answer.
he
You
was.
always like. You
Yeah.
can look back at the group chat, me, you, and Quex, the group, or in Ty.
I
was
didn't even look at my
"Ugh."
phone. I just ran over here. I was like, oh fuck, I'm late, and I just ran over here. I'm sorry.
I can't.
Ponce
help
was
but-
like that mother that hasn't heard from their son. I was like, don't worry, man. Jay's probably done this. He's like, no, it's not like him. I was like, well, maybe it's this. Like, no, he don't do this, so it can't be that.
Yeah.
I can't help but see Artemis in the background. I miss the special kitty. Meow. Look at me. Look. Let's see if we can see her face. Oh, it doesn't look like she's a downy kitty. She's a
Yeah,
downy
she
kitty.
is. She can see into other dimensions.
Yeah. She speaks to the spirits. She's like, "Why'd you just pick me up?"
Yeah. She can see into other realms, dude. I'm convinced.
Yeah,
we need
Gen X, that's my fault. I started it and I chose the dual. If you look on the Numb Millennials page, there's actually 2 different streams
Lives
going
right
right now. Yeah,
I put the link for this one in that chat.
yeah.
You can come to this one if you want.
I didn't know what I was doing. Jay usually handles it. I was just clicking buttons and making shit up.
Yeah. It's all good. I mean, this stream has pretty good. People in the chat can let us know what the quality was like. Maybe this is something you handle the actual stream going forward. Your internet seems to be a little bit more reliable, and I can still share stuff and do that from here.
Yeah, I mean, and I think we need to give Quex that too when he's in here because I know.
Yeah, I gotta add him in.
Yeah, you gave me something, and I was able to get in here and start the stream, which was, I was worried though, dude. I was like, he's not answering my text, he's not answering the group text. I was like, something's not right. I was like, I hope everything's okay.
I was taking a nap. I know.
Right.
Well, the problem is I ate three fajitas and then I went into a food coma.
Oh yeah, the fajitas will do it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think we even missed some stuff here, but I think it was a good broad topic. I think we can.
We definitely need to figure out the book club thing because I'm actually really excited for that. We need to figure
hell
out
yeah.
We can sort that in Discord.
Yeah, we can sort that out in Discord. But this was a good one. Hopefully, it met people's expectations. Talking about giants, I think we covered a lot.
I mean it was a rocky start, and it was a rocky start. And that's on me not knowing this. I should have studied. He gave me access long ago, and I didn't know what that meant until tonight when me and Quex were like, oh, shit.
My bad.
And we were like, do we just do it? And rocky start. I know.
Even me, I know I was a little scatterbrained today. Because me, I'm not good at structuring things that I want to talk about because my brain just goes all over.
ADHD.
And then, I'll start talking about Gilgamesh. And while I'm talking about it, my brain's saying, but you got to mention this, you forgot about this, but what about this?
Yep.
Big man, you ain't even told them this. So it's
yeah.
And that's where I think our trio, and when Ty's here, are whatever you call 4 people.
Duplex.
We work together. Like I noticed it a lot tonight. Like I was like, I can talk, especially when alcohol is involved, but there was I mean I didn't notice it, and I think we need to get better at that too. Maybe not Jay. I've seen you do your solos and you've done well, but like me and Quex or whatever, I think that's something we need to polish up, and we will. To the viewers, we got 10 people right now.
Yes, thank you guys.
We appreciate everyone here.
Definitely.
But we're still young. We're in this aspect, right?
We're young in general. 35 is the new 25.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I can't walk, but yeah. We're figuring it out. We appreciate your support. We're here for it, and like exactly. We'll put hey, can you put the link again?
Yep, I'm working on it right now.
Really, guys, like our Discord, we really want to be, and I think if we do grow, I think we'll keep our Discord pretty exclusive. I think that's or there'll be at least a exclusive section to it. You guys have been here and have stuck around and have talked to us, so I think keeping that group We have talked to it. We've talked about it with Shelly, with Kay, with a few of them. I think keeping the group small as a whole when it comes to stuff like this is important, right? Because we're not gonna be fake here. I'm sorry, I'm talking again. The thing is, we want to grow, right? We want to get this opinion out, get our argument out to each. We all argue. We've done it here multiple times, but yeah, and it does say that now that I see it. Quex and Gen X are on vertical. See in the chats to the right.
Yeah, you can see
Yep.
it on.
Yeah. But
StreamYard.
yeah, our goal is to grow, but you guys have been here and we hope you stay here. And I think we need to create a community that stays small. And we do shit like this. And the book club is a big thing. So I really suggest I really like that idea. Go to the Discord. We've had votes in there
Just set
before.
up a channel
I
and
mean,
look for it.
yeah, but sorry. I'll shut up now. Sorry.
No, you're good. It's probably a
Very
good place to end it.
Yeah, no, that's what I was getting at, but I don't want to talk. I always talk over people. Blame my dad. It's his fault.
No, you're good.
It's Gen
All right,
X's
guys.
fault.
Well, that's the end of the stream. We'll be back Wednesday, maybe a little sooner if something pops up. The UFO files did drop. Did you guys touch on that at all? That's
Nope.
something we'll have to cover in the
Nope.
next show. But
So
new
You weren't
UFO,
here, so we.
yeah, new UFO files did drop. Quex has already been going through it like a madman. But that's something we'll have to cover on maybe the next episode.
Maybe we can do a TikTok because I've been promoting a little bit. I've been doing my own thing, and
Okay.
I'm famous in Vietnam, guys. All right.
Yes, he is. They love him over there. You didn't know it, but he teaches
Nephilim of
English.
Vietnam.
Love you guys. Thanks again, Matthias, Shelly, Gen X, K. Who am I forgetting?
Kinsley.
Kinsley. I'm
Yep.
sorry. The name was avoiding me. Thank you guys. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you guys for being here. Catch you later.
See ya.